Buffalo Sabres Hockey on Empire is brought to you in part by your local Jeep dealers. By Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. By your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. And by McDonald's. Did somebody say McDonald's? Our Xerox starting goaltenders. Ron Tugnut played the first game of this series. Damian Rhodes played game 2. Will start again tonight. And in game 2, of course, he gave up the 3 goals in the 3-2 Buffalo victory over the Senators in overtime. And Dominic Hasek has been the Buffalo goaltender of record right from the get-go. 88 shots he handled in the first 2 games of this series. Our 2 referees, Robbie Schick and Steve Walcom, Jerry Gauthier and Pierre Russico will be the linesmen, and here we go. Senators coming up with a puck immediately. York gaining center ice. He feeds it around behind the net. That's tipped around to the boards, kept in there, however, by Hossa. They'll jam it back along the boards again. Zhitnik knocking it free. Rasmussen bumping in there with York, and it comes away to Zhitnik. Zhitnik curling back behind his net, being chased by Bolt. Now feeds it up on the wing out to center ice. Rasmussen shovels it in over the line. Primo gets knocked down, trying to go after it. Barnes takes out his check behind the net. Primo goes sailing in there. Worked around to Hossa. He steered it to the blue line. Net out. Buffalo keeping it in again. Jam back into the corner. Primo bumping with Hossa again. And it's very physical to start this game as Rasmussen came in and laid out Redden. The Senators will flip it high in the air, send it down the ice. It's coming back on an icing. Not even a minute gone by here in the opening period.
A great job by Primo, Rasmussen, and Stu Barnes as they pressured Ottawa in the zone. Lindy Ruff for tonight's game has scratched Jeff Sanderson, who's out with a thumb injury. Actually, he got slashed the last game. Daryl Shannon, Jean-Luc Grandpierre, and Rob Ray healthy scratches, so that means that Paul Cruz is in the lineup. And for the Ottawa Senators, some surprises. Magnus Arvidsson, the excellent rookie, is scratched. Picklick has a groin problem. Traverse also scratched from the lineup, and Ted Donato.
Pickett trying to dig it free. It's knocked to the boards, kept in there. McKee shot right on, and that one is going to be held by Rhodes.
Okay, well, here's this matchup again. The Michael Pekka, Dixon Ward, Václav Varada against Alexei Yashin at center, Dackel on one wing, and McEachran on the other wing. And Jacques Martin, the coach this morning, of course, stuck up for Yashin. He said he played excellent in game 1. He just hasn't been scoring.
Chuck tied up by Ward in the corner. Ward trying to punch it free. Pekka came sailing in there, but the Senators will bring it out. Pass coming away to center now. It's dumped in over the line. Is getting flattened with Salo. Steered around on the boards. Pekka hooked it around, but can't get it out. Yashin, the long shot. Hasek knocks that away. Pekka catching up with it in the corner. Tried to scoop it. It's kept in by Ottawa again. Finally knocked away to Ward. Ward slipping it high in the air to center, and Yashin stepped into him. Yashin heading to the bench, gunned around on the boards, deflects all the way through center ice. Taken back by Buffalo and shoveled in by McKee. Ottawa coming up with it with a pass on the wing to McEachran. McEachran saw Brown coming. Crossbow flips it off into the corner. Hasek is well the net. Left it in there. Taken now by Junot. Junot starting away. 3-on-2. Junot getting it over the line. Here's Junot, and it's called on the upside.
Now, Lindy Ruff was telling me this morning he is going to tell his defense to gamble, to take chances, to try to get the forecheck or continue the forecheck in the Ottawa zone. And he said even at the risk of giving up a breakaway or a 2-on-1 situation. He said we want to err on the side of aggressiveness, not under-aggressiveness. And Buffalo has come out hitting in this game as they have 5 hits. The Senators with 1 hit. Primo line. Primo, along with Barnes and Rasmussen, had a couple the first shift of the game.
Schmelik sending one through the middle. York is back there to cut. Well, he just fired it all the way back down the ice, and here's a race for it now. Schmelik trying to get there first, and he does.
Well, Jacques Martin said Even though his hockey club has lost the first 2 games of this series, he said, quite frankly, I wouldn't do anything differently. And he did his darndest to try to get Alexei Yashin away from Michael Pekka in Game 2. He didn't bother with it in Game 1, but he did in Game 2. And talking to Lindy Ruff, too, about that, and Lindy said, you know, Jock has been criticized for not coaching properly, he says, but he said he absolutely made my life miserable trying to get Pekka against Yashin.
Holzinger and Van Allen are out on the face-off. Tap back into the corner. Cruz takes out his check. Jammed around on the boards. Patrick pinches to keep it in there. Lokinen shoveled it behind the net. Picked up by Phillips. Phillips cleared it ahead, and it's banked out to center ice. Berg racing after it. Patrick getting in front of him. They'll go to the corner together. Cruz charging in there as well. Left it there. Kept in by Emerson. Emerson turned around by Woolley. It's sent around on the other side. And play has been called as the Sabres net has been knocked askew.
Don't be surprised, too, tonight if the Ottawa Senators try to harass Dominic Hasek. We've seen a little bit of that in the series with players going by, perhaps slashing him in the glove or in the pads. But they're going to, I think, if they have an opportunity, try to upset him to get him off his game. They think that that's one way that they can perhaps loosen him up a little bit. We've seen that before, and I've never seen it work.
Hasek being saluted all over the Marine Midland Arena. Here's Patrick slipping behind the net. Bonk watching him. James Patrick to Woolley. Woolley squeezes one up on the wing. Too far for Holzinger, but he races after it. That forces Rhodes out to play it away. Kept in by Grosek to Holzinger again. They jam it around the boards as Cruz gets involved. To Holzinger in front. He flecks back to the blue line. Patrick can't keep it in. Patrick catches up with it at center to Woolley. Woolley scooting it up to Cruz, and he'll flip it in over the line. Buffalo making a change. Now Hossa for the Senators, getting away to center. Primo took him out. It bounces in wide of the Sabre net. McKee comes up with it. Got it around on the boards, but the Senators keep it in there. Stuffed back behind the net again. Warner fell. Comes out in front. Quick shot. Right on. Hasek's got that one. 3.5 gone here in the opening period in downtown Buffalo. There is no score.
Hello. What's the deal?
Look, my friends, the girls are checking us out.
Maybe it's broken.
They want us. Our physiques are driving them wild.
They're just standing around doing nothing. Like my ex-boyfriend. Typical guys.
This is why I play this game, boys.
This game is lame. Let's find some real guys.
Hey, they'll be back. They're just playing hard to get, huh?
The event you've been waiting for is here. The biggest selection of award-winning minivans, from the lowest priced to the ultimate. Now for a limited time during the National Chrysler Plymouth Spring Sales Drive. Get big $1,000 cash allowances, or our lowest APR 1.9, or our lowest lease rates on every award-winning minivan. The National Chrysler Plymouth Spring Sales Drive, for a limited time only. See your Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
And the Buffalo Sabres on the road to the Stanley Cup. They have 2 more victories here in this first round to advance. Yashin on the ice here for this face-off to the right of Hasek. And, of course, Pekka is there for Buffalo.
McKee slings it around on the boards. Ward deflected it at the blue line. Pekka tried to jam it out. Can't do it. Now Pekka had his stick held, but he used his glove to send it away to center ice. Ward to Verada. Verada working in over the line. Watched by York. Got away from him. Tried to clear it in front, and Yashin stole it away. And then York set up the pick on Pekka. Out to center. It's gunned in over the Buffalo line. Taken away by Verada. Verada clearing it to Pekka. Pekka's pass to Ward. Ward and Pekka come in over the line together. Ward shoots one. Rhodes kicked that away. Ward got it back behind the net to Pekka. Trying to work it out in front. Here's Pekka jamming at it right in front to Ward. The shot scores! Play by the captain, Michael Pekka, behind the net to get it out to his winger, Dixon Ward, who slips it home, and Buffalo takes a 1-0 lead.
And again, the Pekka line against the Yashin line, 1-0 Buffalo. But that play began by Michael Pekka, back in the neutral zone. He made a beautiful pass to Dixon Ward. Yashin was the one of the defensemen back, and the play continued into the Ottawa zone. What a pay by Pekka, and Dixon Ward had the presence of mind to take his time in front. He knew he had time, and to beat the goaltender. And while that was going on, Verada did a great job in front, tying up the defenseman. 1-0 Buffalo, and the first goal in this series has been huge, and the Sabres for the third time have scored it.
Now here's Phillips bringing it into Buffalo territory. Zhitnik squeezes him out, set behind the net. Schmelik coming up with it, hooking it high to Chitan. Chitan puts it off the boards, didn't get it out. Ottawa keeping it in. Zhitnik catching up with it behind the net, trying to pull away from Johansson. Feeds it ahead to center to Brown. Brown couldn't control it. Phillips getting it back again to Lokinen. Lokinen will float one in over the line. Schmelik hustling in after the puck, got it away around on the boards, misses everybody. There'll be no icing, however, as Phillips had the opportunity to play it and instead went to Junot. Senators attempting to bring it out now. Off the glass, out to center ice it comes. Alfredsson gaining the line. Alfredsson swinging in, taking the shot. He clicks right in front. The rebound is swept away by Brown, and Brown hooks that one right back into Ottawa territory. Buffalo will make a change.
First Buffalo goal means first of the
Senators with Kravchuk dropping it off. No, pass missed everybody. This one will still be no icing. Hasek holding it behind the net. Left it there to Patrick, but it's tucked in by Ottawa. Spun back to the point. A long shot by Kravchuk, nowhere near the net. Rasmussen catches up with it. Rasmussen got it off the boards, didn't get it out. Woolley takes it away. Jason Woolley left by Van Allen, and Van Allen spearing away at Patrick as he went by. Patrick, however, comes up with the puck. Through center ice it comes. Rasmussen is leveled on a great check by Salo. That's the hardest hit of the night so far. Woolley spinning one off the boards to center ice, but it's a two-liner. It will be an offside.
Now the Buffalo Sabres, of course, scoring that first goal, vitally important. And for the first 3 games of this series, it belongs to Buffalo. And actually, in all 3 games, they've scored relatively early in the game. Juno in the first minute or so in the last game in Ottawa. But if you come up the middle of the ice, keep your head up. Buffalo trying to do that against Ottawa. Rasmussen trying to field the pass, and Salo made him pay for it with a beautiful open ice hit. Perfectly timed, and you expect that, and I'm sure Rasmussen did.
Ottawa's Redden slipping it in front of the net, but it's taken away, and it'll be spun out by McKee to center ice. Pekka slapping it in over the line. Chip right back out again. Keckern can't get anywhere, neither can Pekka. Redden flipping it ahead to Verada. Verada gets squeezed out by Yashin, cleared in over the line to Ward again. Couldn't get free. Verada charging after it. It came out to center ice. McKee floats back and works it up ahead. Ward getting it across to Pekka in over the blue line. Pekka sails it around off the glass behind the net. Verada leaving it to Ward. Ward trying to drop it back to Verada again. Verada getting involved, bumping with York in the corner. York had a hold of his stick. Senators will pick it up, and McEachern starts away. Verada's all over him. It comes to center, and it's cleared in. Both teams are now going to engineer a change. Almost 7 minutes gone by in the opening period. Buffalo the 1-0 lead. Flipped out to center by Cruz. Cruz stole it away again and just failed to get away at center ice as he ran over his check. Now it's tipped to the Buffalo line and jammed back into the corner. Zhitnik catching up with it, trying to get away from Balk, and does. Zhitnik turns again, rips it all the way around to the boards to Cruz. Too far for him. Taken back by Phillips. Phillips to Lokinen. Lokinen holds it now, wheels it out to center ice. Lokinen got decked by Cruz, but the Senators bring it into the Buffalo end. Cleared in front of the net. There's the shot! And Hasek got a piece of that. Set around on the boards. Holzinger to center. Holzinger couldn't get away. Grosek will flip one in. Rhodes playing it in behind the net. Got it back into the corner. Cruz stepping into his man again. Balk drops it off back there. It's chucked around to Radikoff again for Gardner. Gardner didn't get it out. Buffalo's Grosek keeping it in. Feeds it into the corner. After it, Holzinger. He takes a rough ride from Phillips. And Grosek went tumbling in there. Schmelik moves up to get involved in the mix. Kick free by Holzinger, going after it again. He gets bumped in the corner. Schmelik keeping it in. Back to Junot. The shot! And Rhodes got a piece of that one. Held in with Zhitnik's shot that goes wide around behind the net. Senators just kind of clear it down the ice, and finally they do to take the pressure off in their own end. So it allows Buffalo face-off back in Ottawa territory. The Sabres have the lead. Dixon Ward does the deed.
It's the Jeep Spring event, and great deals on your favorite Jeep vehicles are showing up wherever you look. Like a zero-down, $269 a month Cherokee Sport lease with $544 due at signing. And get all this at no extra charge. Or get Jeep Wrangler for under 15 grand. The landscape will never be the same during the Jeep Spring event. The event that's getting everyone to sit up and take notice. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
We're here to make your day, making big plays. McDonald's has a certain way, 'cause we just can't hide the pride.
Stop in today for the big-time big taste of McDonald's.
Mighty Wings are here. They'll fire up your taste buds with our Louisiana hot sauce. Order the 5 or 10-piece Mighty Wings extra value meals.
'Cause we just can't hide the pride.
Did somebody say McDonald's? Try a Mighty Wings extra value meal today.
Buffalo Sabres have the lead 1-0 in the early goal by Dixon Ward. I really believe that they have a bit of a delay here. Gerard Gauthier, the linesman, I believe, is getting repaired at the Buffalo bench. Can't see exactly what the problem is, but I really believe that Jacques Martin has got to try to get Yashin away from Pekka. It's not worked throughout the whole series, and he has to do it just for the fact of seeing what Lindy Ruff does. Now, maybe Lindy doesn't counter with Pekka. Probably he would, but you never know. But I think as a coach, you have to find out what the other coach wants to do. And quite honestly, up to this point in the series, the Pekka line has just outplayed Yashin. So you've got to try to make some adjustments along the way.
Jim Pizzatelli, the Sabres trainer, looking after Jerry Gauthier over at the Buffalo bench. He got clipped, as Jim mentioned a moment ago, and he's going to have to get some attention here before we can drop the puck again. But knowing the man they call Pizza, it'll be a quick job and a good one.
It's taken a while, too, so it might be a rather nasty one. I'm sure Gerard is going to stay in the game, and maybe the doctor will fix him up in the intermission, but he's ready to go now. And a face-off coming up here to the left of the goaltender, Damian Rhodes, who's starting for the second straight game. Pucknut started game one, and I said before that the weakness on Ottawa is their goaltending.
Juneau just failed to come up with it, but here come the Senators now. Way to center. Johansson getting in over the line. Takes a shot off the goal post. He cranked that one. Held in by Ottawa. Spun back into the corner again. Warner tying up his man. And now Brown tried to jam it ahead. Warner mixing it up in there. It's set back around and behind the net. McKee gets run off the puck. Wheeled around to the boards. Kept in, however, by Salo. Spinning it back into the corner. Yashin being bothered by Brown. They'll tip it right beside the net again. And Hasek reaches out and grabs a hold of that one.
That time Jacques Martin got Yashin out there and got him away from Pekka. But remember, we've said 3 or 4 minutes earlier that Lindy Ruff wanted his defense to be aggressive, even at the risk of giving up a breakaway or a 2-on-1. Well, Jay McKee pinches in, and not a good decision on that play. That sets up a 2-on-1 break for Ottawa. And Andreas Johansson, who sat out the first 2 games, rang it off the goalpost on Dominik Hasek. Johansson had 21 goals this year for Ottawa. And I'm sure Donnie Lieber's having a discussion now with Jay McKee on the bench and say, yes, we want you to be aggressive, but if you're not absolutely 100% sure, then you've got to back out of there. And it did not cost Buffalo that time.
Patrick holding it, and Woolley gets it across to Cruz. Try to get to center ice. Check it. It's Rasmussen now fed in over the line. Senators get it back again. Whipped out to the neutral zone and capped off into Buffalo territory. Hasek is out of the net to get it around to Woolley. He sends it to Rasmussen. Rasmussen kicks it out at center. Now to Barnes. Barnes winding up the long shot. Goes off Lokkonen to the corner. Primo pulls his way in there. Lokkonen didn't get it out. Primo holding it in. Primo after it again. Hold it around Berg. They battle in the corners. Senators going to flip it back behind the net. Primo chasing after it. Emerson going after the puck. He gets challenged by Woolley. Primo trying to take it free. Woolley does. Woolley back to the point. Over to Patrick. Picks the shot. That one is blocked. Senators starting back as Berg, who blocked the shot, brings it to center, flips it in, and both teams hustle to make a change. Jason Woolley again swings it up on the wing. And it's recovered by Ottawa, then just flip right back down the ice, and this one is going to be another icing coming up against the Ottawa Senators. Make sure to stop by the new meeting place during the playoffs, the Crossroads Pub. It's open 2 hours prior to face-off. It's located in the pavilion-level party room and features Buffalo food favorites and a full bar. It's the Crossroads Pub.
You know, on the other hand here, Jacques Martin puts a Yashin line on the ice, and that does force Lindy Ruff. And this is a good move from Martin's point of view to take off Junot, Curtis Brown, and Miroslav Shatan, and that's probably offensively the most dangerous line from Buffalo. So there are some benefits, of course, by going with the Yashin line, even if you're up against Pekka, because that keeps some pretty good offensive players for Buffalo off the ice.
On the other hand, it's the Pekka line that scored the goal.
Exactly, yep. And I still believe that Jacques got to do his best to try to get Yashin away from him.
Tipped around on the boards. Pekka holding it and got it in front, and Rod couldn't connect. Worked around again. It's just lying there. Now it's scooped out to center for Yashin and dribbles its way all the way back to Zhitnik's stick. Zhitnik beating it off the boards. Not out. Ward couldn't get it out. Senators keeping it in. It's lying right in front of the net. Quick shot. That goes wide of the net. Now it's fed out to center ice to Ward. Ward blasting one into the corner. Verada charging after it. Rhodes knocked it away. He came out in front, and it jumped away from Pekka. Yashin scooping it ahead at center to Gardner. He clears it over on the wing, coming off the bench. Hosek got it back to Yashin. The shot right on. Hasek the save. And now the Sabres net gets knocked flying again as Hossa ends up in behind the Buffalo goal crease.
Marian Hossa, one of the bright young players on the Ottawa Senators, and they have a number of them, but he's just a 20-year-old. Dominic Hasek, a sharp again here tonight early in the game. The Senators with 5 shots on goal. Hossa was deposited right in the seat of his pants against the left goalpost. But a very talented offensive player. Won the Memorial Cup last season with Portland and actually tore up his knee.
I was watching that game, as a matter of fact, and boy, oh boy, he did a number on it.
He did, and that was, what, in the closing minute, too, I believe, of that Memorial Cup game, and he missed the first half of the season, but he's a dandy player.
Bonk winning the draw, back to the point, long shot, deflects wide of the net. Senators, Hossa jumping on it in behind the net, taken away by Warner, around on the boards, not out. Kravchuk kept it in. Now Warner getting in front of his check, fires it around to the blue line again, and Shatan deflects it through center. Kravchuk wheeling it back in the other direction. Brown couldn't steal it away, but Shatan does to Brown. Brown took a shot and fired that one way wide. McKee moves up. McKee holding it in, feeding it around to Shatan, scoops it in the other direction. Brown catching up with it in the corners. He bumps with Solo. Now it's cleared in behind the net. Shatan couldn't get it. And fed away, and back comes Bonk. Bonk getting it to center, scooped in by Gardner, who immediately heads to the bench. Wheeled up on the wing to Shatan. Shatan banking one off the boards. He'll head off on a change. Cruz charging after it. And he bumps with Phillips. Puck ends up back in the corner, sent around behind the net as Cruz stepped in to Johansson, and Johansson then hacked him. And there's a long shot now handled by Rhodes. Then around off the glass and right out of play. A little over 8 to go in the first period. Dixon Ward has Buffalo on top.
What you doing, Frank?
Waiting for him to talk.
It's just a game. Frank.
Some nights I'm in here, and I swear, I can hear him talking.
We all have our demons, Frank. Shh, quiet, you're gonna get us caught.
Charlie? Yeah? You hear something?
No.
Now?
No.
The marvel of its aerodynamics, the sheer exhilaration of takeoff. It's enough to make an aerospace engineer jealous. Chrysler Concorde. with a 200 horsepower V6 engine that's remarkably powerful, yet fuel efficient. Now, lease a Concorde LX for $289 a month. Chrysler. Engineered to be great cars.
One of the adjustments the Buffalo Sabres made in Game 2 was reversing the puck in their own zone. They got into all kinds of trouble in the first game of the series, and we just saw it moments ago. Rhett Warrener, he had the Senators moving one way, and he went the opposite way around the boards, reversing the puck, and Buffalo easily managed to get the puck out over the blue line. And we're going to be looking for that here tonight. They did it well in Game 2. They didn't in Game 1, and that's one of the major adjustments they made.
Holzinger, Shitnik, the shot, right on. Rhodes the same rebound. Rhodes stopped that one. Sent around to the boards again. Grosek keeping it in there. He scoops it and that bounces back into the corner. Holzinger flattened his check, goes after it again. Leaving it to Grosek. Grosek trying to feed it in front. Still has the puck. Took his shot. Rhodes knocked that one away, and Cruz was knocked down in front of the net. Now Phillips sending it out at center ice. Crossbow scooped the backhand in. And after it, Zhitnik taking a look and starting out of his own end. A cross-ice pass for Grosek went behind him. Johansson getting it back. Senators trying to feed it through the middle. Johansson again to the Buffalo line. Taken up by Schmelik, and Zhitnik covers up in the corner. 7.5 to go in the opening period. Zhitnik camped back behind his net. He starts away with a pass through the middle, but that one is intercepted, and York powers it right back in again. Barnes flips it free. Taken away by Primo, guiding it up on the wing. Too far for Rasmussen. York scoops it across ice. Redden getting it ahead, but standing on the Buffalo side of center ice was Sean McEachern. And let's go now to Danny Gare.
Well, thanks, Rick. Prior to tonight's game, I talked with Ottawa GM Rick Dudley, and I asked Dudley if he was disappointed being down 2-0. He said his team still has confidence, but I asked him what the key is to get back in this series. He said they have to get traffic in front of that guy right there, Dominic Hasek. They want to get people in front. They want people to continue to go to the net, and they want to look for tip-ins and rebounds. The other thing he said to me was that guy right there, Alex Yashin, has to get on his game and get on the score sheet. Yashin, who has not got a point yet in this series, Dudley wants him to get a 5-on-5 goal. They have not had that either. So Dudley, who always never sits and watches the game live, usually sits in the dressing room and watches on the TV. Up there to you guys.
Here's Rasmussen feeding it in over the line, but it's picked out of the air and comes to center ice. Hossa steering it into Buffalo territory. Goes for the rebound. It's kept around behind the net. They pick at it back there. Patrick trying to come up with it, rolled it around to the boards. Did not get it out. They'll jam at it again, and now taken away by Patrick with a pass that's too hard for Primo to handle. Salo feeding it up to Hossa. Hossa to the Buffalo line. He brings it in over the line, takes his shot, and finds the glass. Rasmussen moving with Balk. Balk kicked it free, trying to work it into the corner, and it's taken away by Buffalo and spun to Barnes. Barnes stepping away from his check and getting it to Primo, and Barnes! Here's Primo in over the line. Oh, and he shot it wide of the net, or else he passed it to Barnes. Whatever, it didn't connect. The Senators get it to the blue line and out to center again. Warner coming up with the puck. He blasts it right back in and gets hit from behind by McEachern. Get around to the boards. Kept in there by Ward. Couldn't get it in front. Lokanen picks it off. Kept in by the Sabres again. That's knocked down to Pekka. Pekka right in front of the net. Verona couldn't get the shot away. Into Ward. To Pekka. Then behind the net to Ward again. Ward trying to get free. Phillips hooked it. Didn't get it out. Pekka keeping it in there. They battle for it again. Phillips comes up with the puck. Phillips leading the rush to center ice and just slipping it off the boards and down the ice. And this is another icing against Ottawa.
Another great shift by Michael Pekka, Václav Verada, and Dixon Ward. And I got to believe that the NHL has said something to the referees and said, look, guys, you've got to stop calling borderline infractions and infractions that aren't even there, because we've had a number of things that the referees have overlooked on both teams in this game, and we haven't had a penalty up to this point.
I think what you're saying is that they would have been called in the first two games, except in overtime in the second game.
Exactly. In game 2 was ridiculous for 60 minutes. Every time you looked at someone the wrong way, you went to the penalty box, and then in the overtime period, there wasn't a penalty call. Makes no sense.
Russell winning the draw. York feeds it around to Gardner. Gardner being challenged by Junot, who knocked it back in behind the net. York taken out by Chatan. Here's Junot getting it right in front. Here's Brown. Couldn't get his shot away, and it's tapped down hustling back after it. McKee getting some encouraging words from Hasek. Slips it out to center ice. Tapped across ice again. Warner comes through and runs into Gardner. McKee busts it around to the boards. Trying to get it to Junot. Steers it in the other direction to Rhett Warner. Warner, long pass up on the wing, brought away to center and scooped up ahead to Chican. He can't get anywhere. Senators Johansson bouncing it back into the corner. Van Allen trying to get there, but Shipnick got there first. Got it around the boards to center ice to Cruz. Cruz scooping it ahead, trying to go after it again. Couldn't come up with it. Chican does. Chican wheels it in. He steps off and completes a change. And Primo went flying in there. Now it's wheeled out to center ice. Grosek knocking it down. Zhitnik feeding one high in the air. It's going to bounce right to the goaltender. And left for Kravchuk. Kravchuk scooping it off the glass to the blue line and out to center ice. Holzinger to Schmelik. Schmelik trying to work it ahead. Let's tap back in the other direction. Holzinger has to wait for his teammates to get onside. Schmelik again. Schmelik up to Holzinger. Holzinger got turned around, knocked it in over the line. The Senators have Yashin out there again. And it's stolen by Buffalo. Grosek keeping it in. That one will skip across ice, and away goes Yashin. Yashin to the Buffalo line and over. Yashin trying to work in. He shot it wide of the net. Senators holding it in there to Yashin again. Got it out in front. It's chopped away. Yashin under it once more. Drops it off. It's cleared off into the corner. McEachern catching up with the puck. Back to the point. A long shot. Yashin chasing after it behind the net. Schmelik watching him. Schmelik takes it away and gives it to Holzinger. Holzinger feeding it off the glass. Trying to work it out of there. And it's taken now by Grosek. Grosek's got time. The Sabres need a change. Phillips then promptly gives it away to Schmelik, and this will give Buffalo time. Pekka coming off the bench, knocks it in over the line. Alfredson can't get it out. Ward keeping it in. He's taken off the puck, and it slipped up ahead. A pass to Lokinen. Lokinen drills one ahead. Patrick got in front of it. Back comes Woolley. Woolley got knocked down, and a penalty coming up to Lokinen as Woolley tried to pull away. And the Senators are going to be shorthanded and trailing 1-0 on Empire.
I think we both know why we're here. There comes a time in every career when you just gotta hang 'em up. You're not pulling your weight anymore. Look at you. I mean, look at you. I gotta cut you.
Expect more from your credit card. With Discover Platinum, you get a low rate and new double cashback bonus awards. It pays to Discover Platinum.
Get out of here.
It's the Jeep Spring event, and great deals on your favorite Jeep vehicles are showing up wherever you look. Like a low $359 a month lease rate on the rugged Go Anywhere Grand Cherokee Laredo. Now with more power, more safety, more capability, and more luxury than ever before. The landscape will never be the same during the Jeep Spring event, the event that's getting everyone to sit up and take notice. Check it out at your Jeep dealer.
Sabres on the power play here in Marine Midland Arena. Coming up in our first intermission, I'll talk to Sabres forward Wayne Primo. We'll go back to Empire Studios, and Rick and Jim will have their analysis. Up to you, boys.
Now, Wayne Primo in this series, a very important player throughout the first two games. First penalty of this hockey game, Jani Lokinen pulls down Jason Woolley in the neutral zone. As Woolley fielded the puck inside the Buffalo line, Lokinen got his stick tangled up with him. And the faceoff will be to the left of Rhodes, and their big argument here about where the faceoff should be. Senators want it outside the blue line, but it will be to the left of Damian Rhodes. Now, special teams, one of the keys to this series, certainly prevalent so far. The Senators, for instance, have scored all three of their goals in the series on the power play. Buffalo won game one as Curtis Brown scored on the power play. Sabres 2 for 10.
Kept in by Junot, trying to work it to the corner. Took another poke at it, but it scooped, goes off the glass, and just inches itself over the glass and into the crowd.
What a game Joey Junot played after recovering from that concussion in game 2 in Ottawa. A goal and 2 assists. And Joe Juneau played 32 minutes and 5 seconds in that game. Lindy Ruff was talking about that this morning. He said, I'm really concerned about tonight's game. That's an awful lot of ice time that he had in Ottawa.
Juneau chasing after it again, and the cleared in front of the net, intercepted back to the point. Shipnick takes his shot. Kept in now by back. It comes to Woolley. He cleared right in front of Juneau. Got a rebound. Oh, and it goes wide of the net. Juneau's got it again. Back to Woolley. Woolley fires one. Didn't get through, and it bounces out to center ice. Berg trying to go after it. Juneau comes right back again. Juneau in over the line, trying to scoop it through, but it's recovered, and Salo sends it to center. Now worked across to Pekka. He'll feed it back to Woolley. Woolley gaining the line to Juneau. Juneau swings it around behind the net to Pekka. Pekka halting, leaving it back there. Kept in by Buffalo. Jammed back in the corner. Shatan got it back to the point, and it jumped over the stick of Shitnick to center. Shitnick curling around again for Shatan. He rolls it back in. York comes up with the puck off the boards. Didn't get it out, but a second effort and scooped out to center. A minute to go in the penalty. Brought right back by Shitnick again. Shitnick in over the line. Dumps it off in the corner. Shatan went flying in there. Kept in by Pekka. Pekka takes his shot. That one gets knocked down. And now it'll be Redden guiding it down the ice. And both teams sending out some fresh troops. Hasek hooks it off the boards. Went all the way to center. Taken back by Kravchuk, leaving it at his own end, and right back down the ice. A half minute left in the Ottawa penalty. A minute and a half to go in the opening period. Buffalo has the only goal. Patrick getting it up on the wing. Switch through center now to Ward. Ward in over the line. Holzinger the shot! And Rhodes down on his knees will hang on to that one.
That's a second good chance that the Sabres have had on the power play. A much better one was Miroslav Shatan, who was isolated alone in front of the goaltender. And this time on the rush, Holzinger shooting from a bad angle. I mentioned the game in Ottawa. Damian Rhodes is very vulnerable 5-hole. And I think Shatan tried to do that on that great opportunity, but that was a wonderful piece of goaltending. Damian Rhodes was moving across from his left to his right, and the key was he kept his goalie stick on the ice, the blade of the stick, and that's what stopped Shatan from scoring. But players will be looking to go 5-hole on him and up high.
Back it comes to Schmelik. Schmelik got it on the other side. A shot didn't get through again as Patrick let it go, and the Senators come away 3-on-2 to Bonk. Bonk in over the line. He's taken out by Patrick. Schmelik runs into his check in the corner. Ottawa ready to return to full strength, and now they do. Successfully killing off the power play of Buffalo. Sabres starting out. Patrick scoops it over on the wing to Holzinger. He'll ease it in over the line and charge to the bench on a change. Less than a minute remaining in the period. Here's Yashin galloping in with a shot that misses. Sent around to the board. Held in. Deflected right in front of the net. And that one is grabbed and held now by Hasek. And McKee and McEachern mixing it up and behind the nets.
And McEachern in Game 2 in Ottawa was extremely aggressive for Ottawa. Well, I'll tell you, on that play, though, that was dangerously close to being called a penalty shot. Dominic Hasek was down on the ice, and it might have been James Patrick in front of him who grabbed the puck and pulled it into him. And he was dangerously close to being in the goal crease. And Hasek immediately, as soon as he saw what happened, he fell on top of his defenseman.
I think he was outside the crease.
He was outside, but
marginally, but
boy, oh boy, that was close. And Dominic quickly dove and grabbed the, at least attempted to grab the puck. And the faceoff coming up here to the left of the Buffalo goaltender.
48 seconds remaining in the opening period.
And Yashin will take this faceoff against Michael Pekka.
Waiting for the linesman Rasico. Pekka winning the draw to Warner. Warner getting it off the boards. Verada didn't get it out. Here's Yashin. Quick shot. He fired it wide of the net. Tucked to the corner. Warner gets tied up in there. Pekka sending it high in the air. This one is going to make it down the ice. It will be icing, and now we have 30 seconds to go in the period.
I think it's sort of interesting here. Lindy Ruff's made a bit of a switch in Game 1 and certainly parts of Game 2. Alexei Zhitnik and Richard Schmelik played against the Yashin line. Tonight it's been almost exclusively Rhett Warner and Jay McKee. And of course I think he likes McKee and Warner against big number 19 because they're a little more physical than Schmelik and Zhitnik. Now if the defense is having trouble, I'm sure he'll go back to Schmelik and Zhitnik, who did a great job against Yashin. But so tonight that's one of the changes the Sabre coaching staff has made.
Quick to the corner. They jam out of along the boards. Gashin is all tied up there. They're still fighting for the puck. Came to the blue line. Hasek steered that one off into the corner. Senators keep it in, but now Buffalo's Pekka, beg your pardon, tips it. And it deflects and goes down the ice, and they're going to rule that this one did not hit anybody. It will be icing, and 11.7 seconds to go. And yet another face-off in Buffalo territory.
Václav Varada, of course, a couple of good body checks in Game 2. And Ottawa, one I remember in particular was on Radek Bonk in the overtime. Bonk had been running around all game, and Varada caught him with a dandy right at the Ottawa bench, and they want more of that from Varada. That's his game. And I referred in Game 2 back to last year's playoff when he upset Lindros and John LeClair, and they were off their game, and Varada was responsible for that.
Face-off very close at this point in the match. They'll jam it back in the corner, and Gashin with a backhand, and Hasek knocks down, wheels around on the boards, kept in by the Senators, deflected just wide of the net. McEachern trying to work it in front, gets knocked off stride, and McEachern and McKee again. This is almost round 2.
Now, Jay McKee's establishing and letting McEachern know that what you did in Game 2, you're not going to get away with tonight. And we think back, it was McEachern who slashed Dominic Hasek in the goalie glove. And McKee wants to put an end to that right now. But for Ottawa, a good way to finish the period as they certainly pressured Buffalo. But Dixon Ward did the only damage in that opening period, scoring a beautiful goal to give Buffalo the 1-0 lead for the 3rd time in this series. And we'll check our Toyota statistics after 20 minutes here at the Marine Midland Arena. Buffalo shooting Ottawa 10-7, face-offs even at 11, and the scoring chances 4 for the Sabres and 2 for the Ottawa Senators. So a solid defensive effort in the first 20 minutes by Buffalo, and they did pretty well in the Ottawa end of the zone.
Game number 3, of course, being played tonight at the Marine Midland Arena, where game number 4 will be played on Tuesday night. There are single seats only available for that game on Tuesday night, the 4th of the series. Let's go now to Danny Gare.
Well, thanks, Rick. Here with forward Wayne Primo, and Wayne, Lindy Ruff started you along with your line mates Rasmussen and Barnes tonight. Is he giving you more confidence? Is you enjoying that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you get the chance to play more, it's definitely more exciting. You feel more part of the team, and you just feel more relaxed, and you're enjoying the game a lot more.
One of the things that the coaching staff wanted to make sure is that you kept your composure in the first part of this game early on, but now they want you to dictate, I'm sure, in the second and third a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we just got to play the same way. We got to finish our checks. We know that, if we give them the opportunity on the power play, they got some great players over there that can score goals. So we got to stay out of the box and just play disciplined hockey.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks.
Rick?
Well, the Sabres have the first goal again in this hockey game, as they've been able to make that successful thus far in this series, but one is hardly going to be enough. However, it was Michael Pekka, superb play behind the net, gave it to Dixon Ward, and he knew exactly what to do with it.
Did you ever notice the most scenic roads in America have the most unpredictable weather? That's why we made Chevy Blazer. It comes with standard 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes, so you feel safe and secure in all kinds of conditions. And now during Chevrolet's Highway 99, 4-door Blazers come with 1.9% APR financing or $1,500 cash back. 4-door Chevy Blazer, now with 1.9% APR financing or $1,500 cash back. See your Chevrolet dealer today.
The Enclave program is designed to place clients in a real production work environment. Each program participant must learn 60 different jobs here at Harlequin, and the excellent results speak for themselves.
Suburban Adult Services, building a foundation for the future.
Things sure have changed around here since Tom switched his gas station over to Gulf. Old Ed used to drive to the next town over just to get that good Gulf gasoline he grew up with. Ruth Ann says money experts recommend the Gulf MasterCard over most other credit cards. So now folks just fly right in, pay at the pump, and earn free gas. We still offer that good old-fashioned service. Gulf just made buying gasoline faster for people who don't have as much time on their hands.
You know how it is. You always have to decide between buying what you need and buying what you want. Your needs, your wants. Unfortunately, the want part loses out a lot. Maybe what you need is a smarter way to manage your finances. Then speak to a home equity specialist at Key. Call anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they can tailor a solution for your needs and your wants right over the phone. Call 1-888-KEY-1234. Key, help at every turn.
The big new Walden Dodge grand opening. No money down used Super Savers start at $129 a month. Escorts, Sables, Saturns, Neons, Tauruses, Tempos, Corsicas, or Achievas, only $129 a month at Walden Dodge across from Galleria Mall.
The Sabres with an early lead, 1-0 over the Senators. I know you want to talk about it, the importance of that first goal, and the Sabres get off to a good start. That's 2 games in a row. Brian Blessing, Mike Robitaille in the Empire Studios, Danny Gare at Marine Midland Arena. Danny, let's talk about the job Lindy Ruff's done so far in this series. A masterful job on the road where he had to really juggle things around to get the matchups he wanted, and he did a great job of that. And then tonight, a little change of pace. Jim Lorentz talked about it during the first period. McKee and Warner now going against Josh.
But and I don't think this just happened overnight for Lindy Ruff. I think the one thing that he tried to do, prepare in the last month of the season, you could see him using different line combinations, mixing and matching a lot on defense. When Warner came along with, he used him a little bit with Zhitnik at the start, and then he used him with McKee, and then he used them against top lines too. So I think he was preparing for this and maybe getting his players ready and used to maybe the fact that they might have to use different roles in different situations, and it has worked for him. You're right.
Boy, Ottawa, their greatest asset is speed, and there's a lack of it from Ottawa in this first period. But I think if there's something that really affects you when you play Buffalo, is when you're going against Haas, it gets tough to get one, let alone having to score 2 or 3. And when Buffalo gets the first goal, Danny, I'll tell you, it's pretty depressing, figuring we can't get 1 in this guy. How are we going to get 2?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, one of the things that this team has had problems with in this series is even getting an even strength goal for Ottawa. But when you're down 1 against Dominik Hasek, that just, you know, is another problem area for the players' mindset. I think they're looking at, gee, here we go again. We're going to have to, you know, play catch-up. And what it does, it opens it up for the Sabres. So Sabres in a good position right now, have to continue to dictate this game.
All right, we'll see if they can keep it going, Danny. We'll talk to you after the second. We are going to step aside and return with an Empire Sports Report update. Mike DeGeorge will be with us to do the honors, and we'll send you back for that second period. See you later.
You have meditated for 3 months.
Yes, Master.
And what have you learned?
One thing, Master.
Yes?
Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
RE/MAX Associates average more experience and more sales than other real estate agents. So why in the world would you ever call anyone else?
You have done well, my son.
Thank you, Master.
RE/MAX helped us find this place, you know.
Cool.
You know how it is. You always have to decide between buying what you need and buying what you want. Your needs, your wants. Unfortunately, the want part loses out a lot. Maybe what you need is a smarter way to manage your finances. Then speak to a home equity specialist at Key. Call anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they can tailor a solution for your needs and your wants right over the phone. Call 1-888-KEY-1234. Key, help at every turn.
This is your 2-minute warning.
Game on the line. Here's Flutie rolling out, and he is in for the touchdown.
While the power of the Buffalo Bills is exploding, the best seats in the house are quickly disappearing. A new season is just around the corner with new expectations, new faces, and a newly renovated Ralph Wilson Stadium. Feel the power. Don't let time run out. Call 1-877-BBTICKS for your season ticket discount and feel the power of the Bills.
Oh, car trouble. What's the score?
No score. You don't drive a Toyota, do you?
How'd you know?
Because you can count on a Toyota. Watch. And you can count on your Toyota dealer to make the reliable Camry so easy to get into at $219 a month. And that's $219 a month for an equipped Camry, but just for a short time, so don't be late for this one.
Great.
Uh-oh, penalty kick.
Who's the new goalie?
That's my niece. Pretty good, huh?
Prepare
to see something truly brilliant. The future's here, and it's brighter than ever. Adelphia has jumped light years ahead by investing in fiber optic and digital technologies, linking you to more of what you want. Now, we bring you an extraordinary selection of services that simply connect you to your life and the world around you. But what's really amazing is one company has brought it all to life and to you. Adelphia, your link for everything.
Good evening, I'm Mike DeGeorge with an Empire Sports Report update. Pittsburgh Penguins putting it to the New Jersey Devils the last couple of games, even without the injured Jaromir Jagr. The Pens writing a winning story after Jason Aronot giving New Jersey the 2-1 lead. The Pens exploding for 3 third-period goals. Martin Straka with the hat trick as they take Game 3 4-2. Pittsburgh now leading the best of 7, 2-1. Phoenix built a 4-0 lead and then held on to beat the Blues 5-4. Detroit with a commanding 3-0 lead after downing the Ducks 4-2, and later on Dallas plays Edmonton. Bills concluding minicamp earlier this afternoon. Despite the injury to receiver Peerless Price on Friday, the experience that the other young players getting was priceless. Recent draft choices like fullback Sean Bryson, Price's teammate at Tennessee, getting their first taste of NFL football.
I just kind of took it in stride or whatever. It was tough at first, but when I started picking up on the offense, it started clicking like that. So I think my overall minicamp went pretty good.
Hockey Hotline coming up right after tonight's game, but for now, back to the arena in tonight's second period. After 20 minutes, 1-0 Buffalo.
What makes it super with satisfaction? Auto Choice Superstore.
Announcing Western New York's newest Hyundai dealership, Town Hyundai and Auto Choice. Unbeatable savings on this 99 Hyundai Accent for $84.95. A 99 Hyundai Elantra for $11,695. A 99 Hyundai Sonata for $15,695. The Hyundai Advantage is America's best warranty. Auto Choice Superstore now offers the Hyundai line to its unbeatable selection of cars where satisfaction is always guaranteed.
We're here to make your day, making big plays. McDonald's has a certain way, 'cause we just can't hide the pride.
Stop in today for the big-time big taste of McDonald's.
Mighty Wings are here. They'll fire up your taste buds with our Louisiana hot sauce. Order the 5 or 10-piece Mighty Wings extra value meals.
'Cause we just can't hide the pride.
Did somebody say McDonald's? Try a Mighty Wings extra value meal today.
Can't miss Baseball Thursday, the NL's hottest get-it-on down south. Chipper Jones and the Atlanta Braves juggernaut welcome Jason Kendall and the young and hungry Bucks. Can't miss Baseball Thursday on Empire.
Even as a kid, I was a little different. I had this fascination with wireless phones.
We were a little concerned about Davy, to be honest.
But now that I work at Cellular One, I finally fit in. And thanks to Right Rate, every day I get to help our customers make sure they're on the right rate plan.
Woohoo! That rate is right.
This is going to save you major bucks. No. Thank you.
Cellular One, hopelessly focused on wireless.
Sign up with Right Rate and get this Nokia phone free.
I guess you know why I called you in. There comes the time when you gotta hang 'em up. Look at you. You can't even talk through that mustache anymore. The time has come. I gotta let you go. Get off my set.
Buffalo Sabres looking for their third victory in 3 games in this series. Have a 1-0 lead at the end of 1 here at the Marine Midland Arena. And I think that this hockey game is much like the first 2 in that it's been very close checking and a lot of hard hitting.
We keep waiting for that 2-goal lead. I've been talking about that as a key for the first 2 games of the series, and we haven't seen it yet. But, and again, I'll repeat, I think if a club goes up by 2 goals, I don't think you can score 3 goals in Dominic Hasek, and I doubt if Buffalo could score 3 on the Ottawa Senators. But for the 3rd time in this series, Buffalo scoring the first goal, and of course that has been huge in each game.
Yeah, and on top of that, though, I think we have to keep in mind that power play goals have played such a big part in this series, but there's, up to date now in this hockey game, there's only been 1 power play, that by Buffalo.
That's right. There were some penalties called at the end of that period, but they are coincidental, so only 1 power play, that went to Buffalo. And of course, the Ottawa Senators, particularly in Game 2, had both of their goals scored while they had the man advantage. Buffalo needs or is going to make some adjustments tonight when they do get a penalty.
I thought Michael Pekka was just absolutely huge when he set up the only goal of this game.
He sure was. And what to watch on this, too, is Alexei Yashin, though. This is a very poor effort by Yashin. You can tell who wants to gain more, or who wants to make the play more. There's Yashin behind the net with a chance to check Pekka. He's not even close. Now watch what he does. He waltzes out in front of the net. He has a chance to go after Dixon Ward, but he nonchalanted it or did not hustle nearly enough, and Buffalo ended up scoring the goal again. Pekka actually started that play back in the neutral zone, and Dixon Ward finished it off on Damian Rhodes.
And the Discover Card scoring summary shows you the way it went. Ward with his first of these playoffs so far, Michael Pekka and Václav Broda, so the whole line was involved in that one. This is a copyrighted production of Niagara Frontier Hockey. It is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any other use without the prior express written consent of Niagara Frontier Hockey LP is prohibited. The Buffalo Sabres and the Ottawa Senators contemplating the second period. Coming up in a moment.
Introducing Nissan's SE Limited. Special value-added versions of the SE Maxima, Ultima, and newly redesigned Pathfinder. They may be called limited, but they come with a list of features that's anything but. Get $1,500 cash back on any Ultima or lease the SE Limited for $229 a month for 36 months, $12.99 initial payment.
If you've never experienced the thrill of Mach 3, it's wake-up time. Introducing Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple-blade shaving system. 3 blades positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3, so you don't have to shave over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
The most important issue in terms of healthcare today is supporting the doctor-patient relationship. We spend a great deal of time listening to the doctors, and they're able to tell us very clearly what resources they need to take better care of their patients.
It really made a difference. What I'd like to see, though, is more information.
We have areas where we can improve, and we strive to do a better job at pulling our weight in that partnership. Together, we can do an even better job of taking care of patients.
Get your yard ready for spring and save.
You'll get a great deal on durable and energy-efficient Metal Industries storm doors, available in 3 styles. Your choice, only $69. For extra strength, get the heavy-duty self-storing wood core model on sale for just $88. You'll save over $30.
Helpful salespeople with low spring prices.
Value has everything you need.
You've never experienced the thrill of Mach 3. It's wake-up time. Introducing Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple-blade shaving system. 3 blades positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3, so you don't have to shave over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Buffalo Sabres Hockey on Empire is brought to you in part by HSBC, your world of financial services. By the new Dodge. See your friendly Dodge dealer near you. And by Budweiser, who salutes America's responsible drinkers.
Now, Dominic Hasek, a relatively easy time of it in that opening period. As the Senators, I think we credited them with 2 quality scoring chances, and of course, one hit the crossbar, the goalpost.
That was Johansson.
Yeah, and they had one other one, and that was the extent of it. So, after facing a barrage of shots in Ottawa in the first period, particularly in Game 1, an easy first period here tonight. The matchup, Michael Pekka against Alexei Yashin. 10 shifts for Alexei Yashin, and 6 of them against Pekka. So here again, Jacques Martin did get him on the ice, or managed to move him away from Pekka. But as Jacques Martin said, yes, Alexei, we want him to score, but it's a team sport, and they need some support from other players. Radek Bonk, for instance, had close to 20 goals this year and gets to play a lot. He's out there with against Curtis Brown. Coincidental penalties at the end of the second period. McKee and McEachran in the box.
Brown trying to get away at center, shovels it in over the line. Shatan took a bump from Bonk, and it slides across ice. Recovered by York, banking it around behind the net. Back to Jason York again. He'll feed it up ahead. Bonk takes it away. Leaves it at the blue line. Scoop to Alfredson going in the other direction. Now to York, and it went between his legs. Zhitnik is back after it. Just underway. Second period. 1-0 Buffalo. Game 3. Brown hitting center, and he's checked from behind by Hossa. Rolls in wide of the net. York comes up with it, swings it around to the boards. Yashin starting back again. Yashin to the Buffalo blue line and over, tried to shovel it through. It's knocked down at the blue line, kept in though by Ottawa. Rolled back to the point. That's fanned on by Salo, but here's Yashin holding it in. Yashin getting it back to the point. Kravchuk to Yashin again, cutting in front of the net. They whack it wide of the net. Salo after it again. Salo swinging around. To Yashin, the long shot. Hasek makes the save, and he will hang on to it.
Now Dominic Hasek quickly pouncing on the puck, but Ottawa some dangerous maneuvering inside the Buffalo zone, and it results in another 0 for Yashin. Certainly not from lack of effort that time. Lots of room out there on 4-on-4. Hossa made a nice play to poke check the puck away inside the Buffalo blue line. The Sabres are pretty good coverage. Yashin ended up with the puck. Buffalo got back in good shape. Warner took his man in front of the net. And a face-off coming up here to the right of Hasek.
Emerson and Pekka will do the honors. Emerson back to the point. Long shot. Knocked down in front of the net. Spun off the glass to center ice. Kravchuk recovering. He'll swing it in the other direction. A pass is taken away by Woolley to Junot. Scooping it over now to Pekka. Pekka in over the line, getting away from Kravchuk. Back to Junot. Turning around. Junot tried to feed it across ice. It was picked out of the air. Away goes Dackel. Dackel in over the blue line. Drops it off to Kravchuk. His shot went wide. Dackel is checked by Pekka. Michael Pekka. A pass through the middle. And just failing to get away was Warner. Brought right back again by the Senators in over the line. After it, Alfredson. Alfredson turning. Got it in front of the net. That deflects back into the corner. Alfredson's after it again. Alfredson wheeling it back to the point. Redden took the shot that goes wide. And Ottawa is putting some pressure on here in the early going. Now Junot will start away. And Yashin just hacked Woolley in behind the play. Senators getting it back. Buffalo in the midst of a change. York starting to the Sabre line and over. York works it into the corner, looking in front. Hasek kicked it away. It's jammed around to the boards. Ottawa maintaining possession. Here's McEachran. Took his shot. That one deflects wide of the net. But the Senators are really putting the pressure on early here in the second period. Another one knocked out in front, and it's speared away through center. York going back after it. And again, Buffalo changing up, as are the Senators. Lokinen going to bring it off the glass, goes to center ice, knocked down by Zhitnik. He bumps with Crossville, taken away by Primo, spins one right back in. York catching up with the puck. Feeds it over on the wing and almost stolen by Barnes, and now Rasmussen raced after it. Primo trying to keep it in there. 4 players hitting the deck. They jam right in front of the Buffalo bench, still pushing and shoving, and still no whistle. And now we'll get a face-off coming up. 3 minutes have passed by here in the second period. Buffalo on the board, leading by 1.
The world used to be so big, and now it's gotten smaller.
It's changing every second.
Every day there's something new.
Change. I see it every day.
Change is an antidote to boredom.
The way we do business is totally different from what it was 30 years ago.
I have investments now.
Where the agents have changed.
Change is scary.
Change is exciting.
Kids teach you about change.
You've got a new house, a new mortgage.
One generation makes its mark, then it's up to the next.
Change is good, I hope.
Your world is changing, and to help you make the most of it, so are we. Marine Midland is now HSBC.
And that's how you win.
During Adventure 99, Dodge will give you a great lease deal on a Dodge Ram.
Or, if you buy a Dodge Dakota, get your choice of a $1,000 cash allowance or a great vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. It's the adventure of a lifetime, and we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Part of the game plan against Ottawa, of course, to finish your check, especially against Alexei Yashin. Woolley tried to do it to the right of Dominik Hasek and pushed him away, and he certainly pushed him down to the ice when the puck moved to the other side of the rink. And then Yashin got up and, as Rick mentioned, slashed Woolley viciously. Yashin noticed you can get under his skin, and Buffalo's trying to do that.
Here the Senators with Bonk wheeling one in. Hasek tipped it off the boards, not out. Kravchuk keeping it in there. Hasek slows it down behind the net. Woolley coming up with it. Woolley twists to get away from Bonk and does so successfully. Woolley uses the boards, but Hosek keeps it in. Sent back into the corner. Patrick comes it around to the boards. Not out. Ottawa keeping it in again. Patrick chasing after a check. Came right out in front, and a penalty coming up now as Hosek got hauled down.
Not a great play by Hosound. It was James Patrick who ended up taking him to the ice. The Sabres not a good start to this period. They're having some problems in their own zone. They made a bad change earlier. That allowed Ottawa to race into their end and keep things going. Hossa around behind the net is tripped up by James Patrick. And for the first time in this hockey game, Ottawa will go on the power play. Now, in game 2, the Senators scored both their goals on the power play for 2 reasons. They got people in front of Hasek. On the first one, it was McEachran who screened Hasek and put a rebound underneath him. And on the second one, it was Alfredson cruising in front of the net to deflect the puck. Lindy Ruff said this morning one of the adjustments they want to make tonight on penalty killing is to make certain they key more on the point man.
Ottawa can't keep it in. It slithers out to center ice. Emerson dishes one off the boards. Yashin stolen by Junot, and over the line takes a shot right on. Rhodes hangs on to that one.
Now Joey Junot so quick as he just picked the pocket of Alexei Yashin in the neutral zone and turned it back the other way. And a hard slap shot from just inside the circle to the right of the goaltender. Nice stop by Rhodes. What a play by Junot. He's an excellent penalty killer, and he's basically taken Dixon Ward out of the equation as Junot penalty kills with Michael Pekka. And these two guys are very dangerous offensively, and we just saw that.
Redden has it now. 1:45 left in the Buffalo penalty. Redden gliding through center. He'll rip one in. Kicked around on the boards. Alfredson trying to come up with it. So is Warner. They chop at it in the corner. It squirts high in the air and makes its way right over the glass. And there's McKee right in the face of Sean McEachran again.
Yeah, well, they've been going at each other tonight. Both of them assessed penalties at the end of the first period. McKee doesn't like the fact that McEachran's been running around and slashing at his goaltender, which he did in game 2. McEachran will take this face-off against Pekka to the right of Hasek. 1:31 remaining in the penalty to James Patrick. 1-0 Buffalo.
Pekka winning the draw, tipped around on the boards to the blue lines. Flips it and gets it through center, and Pekka racing after it. Yashin after him. Pekka works it in over the line, drills it all the way around to the boards. Recovered by Alfredson. Alfredson leaving it to Emerson, and Nelson Emerson takes a look. Up to Alfredson again. Jumped away from him, but he carries on to the corner after it. Swings it around behind the net to Kravchuk. Got away from him and went to center ice. Tipped across to Emerson. A minute left in the penalty. Taken away by Buffalo and fed right back down the ice by Shatan. And the Sabres will complete a change. Emerson collecting it. And gets it up on the wing for Kravchuk. He gets taken out by Holzinger. And the Sabres come up with the puck again and wheel it high in the air, but that goes out of play.
42 seconds left in the James Patrick penalty. First minor of the night for Buffalo. And, of course, we always check back in the keys to the series, and I'm sure these apply to each game. Generate forecheck for Buffalo, and they have done that here tonight. They did it very well in game 2. Eliminate turnovers at the Ottawa blue line. That hasn't happened very often tonight. The 2-goal lead. Buffalo searching for that, down or ahead 1-0 in the special teams. And right here, the Sabres penalty killers doing a great job so far.
Kravchuk, however, keeps it in. Schmelik takes out his man. Phillips got it around behind the net. Back to Salo to Kravchuk. Kravchuk floats one in, knocked down in front of the net. Dackel keeping it in. Back it comes to Salo. His blast. Deflected just wide of the net. Schmelik knocks it free. Not out. Kravchuk holding it in. Another long shot goes wide. It's worked around on the boards and packed at, but not out. Kept in there. Dackel. Here's Dackel waltzing in. Back to Kravchuk to Salo to Kravchuk. Kravchuk back for Salo again. Takes his shot. Hasek reaches out and snares that one.
Well, Ottawa just overpassing the puck. Andreas Dackel had the opportunity to go right on Dominic Hasek point blank and decided to pass it back to his defenseman. And that's a bad decision by Dackel, and of course being uptight. The Senators moved the puck around and eventually shot it finally, and Hasek gloved it. The shot was going to go wide. But Dominic Hasek had some problems as Chris Phillips, a big guy, 6'4", is playing tonight. One of the reasons to stand in front of Hasek, and he did it on that power play, and Dominic didn't see it, but managed to still make the save.
6 seconds remaining in the penalty. And a quick shot is right on. Hasek will give it to Ward, and he'll finish the job, and Buffalo returns to full strength. Senators back to regroup. Patrick out of the box into the bench. And pass through center ice now is taken away by McKee to Warner. Warner used a pass for Verada, tipping it off into the corner. It's going to make it all the way down the ice. Pekka trying to catch up with it. Slapped into the corner to Bonk. He's checked by Ward to Verada. Verada left it for Ward again. Jam back in along the boards. Ward trying to come up with it. Bonk tries it free. Bonk sliding it ahead and to center ice. Dumped in by Hossa wide of the goal. Hasek got it around to Ward. Ward leaving it for Pekka. Pekka heading the Ottawa line. Scooping one in wide of the net. Verada charging after it. Verada fills. Phillips came back to the point. Long shot by Woolley goes wide of the goal. And Phillips and Verada are battling away. Senators bringing it out again. It ends up going to center ice to Yashin getting it over the line. Here's Yashin taking the shot, and look out! That one screams its way up into the crowd as we go to Danny Gare.
Thanks, Rick. I'm here with Sabres forward Jeff Sanderson, not playing tonight because of an injured hand. First of all, Jeff, how's the injury?
I didn't feel very good today. I basically have no grip on my stick at all for shooting or even just a soft pass. So I think it's going to be another couple days before I'll be able to do anything.
But there's no broken bones. It's mostly ligament damage?
Yeah, the x-ray showed no broken bones, but, you know, they said it was all ligament and all swelling right now.
What about the next goal for this Buffalo Sabre team? How important is that?
Well, I think it'll be the series. Like you said, I think that if we can get that next one, it's going to be really hard for them to, you know, come back. But you know, you never know with Ottawa. They can really turn it up offensively.
Thanks, Jeff.
Now, here's an example. Remember, Lindy Ruff is content now not to play Pekka against Yashin, and this is what I suggested earlier Jacques Martin should have done. It's Curtis Brown here out there with Junot and Chatan.
Dackel gets it around behind the net, recovered by Brown in the corner. Brown flipping it up to Junot. Junot scooped it to the blue line, not out. Brown has to chase after it again, hooks it off the glass and sends it into Ottawa territory. Salo getting a pass across ice, taken back by Junot. Junot leaving it for Schmelik. Schmelik on the wing to Brown. Brown tipping it up ahead. Too far for Junot. Chatan almost stole it away, but Kravchuk then gave it to Schmelik. Schmelik banks it in over the line, going after it again. Schmelik trying to feed it down low. Kravchuk took it away. He dribbled it around behind the net. Salo didn't get it out. Here's Shipnick taking a shot, and that one hit a body and down on the ice. It's cleared away to center ice. That shot hit Chatan as it was taken by Zhitnik, and Chatan is still down on the ice, and now they call the play. Miro Chatan will be treated by Jim Pizzatelli. 12.5 to go in the second. 1-0 Buffalo on Empire.
Hello. What's the deal?
Look, my friends, the girls are checking us out.
Maybe it's broken.
They want us. Our physiques are driving them wild.
They're just standing around doing nothing. Like my ex-boyfriend. Typical guys.
This is why I play this game, boys.
This game is lame. Let's find some real guys.
Hey! They'll be back. They're just playing hard to get, huh?
Ever hear this? Jack of all trades, master of none. Like if you needed brain surgery, would you go to a general practitioner or a brain surgeon? Obvious answer, right? So why would you go to a department store to buy tires? Ooh, nice.
At Dunn Tire, we're tire pros. The biggest selection, the guaranteed lowest out-the-door prices. And we're experts at taking care of your tire needs.
If you need pliers, come here. But if you need tires, there's only one place to go.
At Dunn Tire, nobody beats our selection, and nobody beats our prices.
Alexei Zhipnik trying to shoot the puck at the goaltender, rang it right off the back of the ankle of Miroslav Shatan, and Shatan went down to the ice. He remained on the Buffalo bench, and his girlfriend Ingrid Smolinska looking on and very concerned. Ingrid sang the national anthem tonight, and as usual did a wonderful job.
Face off at the top of the circle in the Buffalo zone. Away by Holzinger to Woolley. Woolley using the glass too high for Cruz. It sails through center. Cruz picks it up, has to wait for Holzinger. He got nailed at the blue line, however, and then couldn't control the puck. So it ended up an offside. Playoff tickets for games 4 and 6, and keep in mind the tickets for games 4 are single tickets only, are now on sale. For tickets, you can visit Fantastics at any Tops Friendly Market locations or the Marine Midland Arena box office, or toll free. You can call 1-888-223-6000. Here's Woolley drilling one in all the way around on the board. Patrick pinches right in front. Holzinger backhand score! Brian Holzinger swings around, lets the backhand go, beats Rhodes, and Buffalo has a 2-0 lead.
One of the keys, or one of the weaknesses, and I'll say it again, is the goaltending on Ottawa. Probably their weakest link, and that was a backhand shot that should have been stopped. But if we take it back, Jason Woolley shoots the puck in, and this was a planned play. James Patrick just took off, ended up deflecting the puck in the corner to the left of the goaltender, and Brian Holzinger spun and backhanded the puck into the net, and the 2-goal lead for the first time in this series belongs to Buffalo.
Hasek coming out of the net to give it to McKee. McKee dropping it back for Warner. Out to Rasmussen. Rasmussen, with a bad pass right into the skates of Primo, and Primo could have got crushed. New York feeding it across ice. Senators trying to come away again, scoop it in over the line. Rasmussen trying to go after it. The Ottawa team keeping it in there. Jam it back in the corner for Hossa. Hossa, watched by McKee. Hossa comes up with the puck. Kicked it back into the corner. He still got possession of it. Hossa dropping it off. Slides out in front. Not out. Kept in by Ottawa. And now Rasmussen knocks it to Primo. He can't get it out. Back at the point, a long shot. And Hasek looks around and said, no, I'm going to hang on to this one.
Good play by Dominic Hasek. He knew that his team was out of position in the zone and just calmly held on for the face-off. Jacques Martin's hockey club is a mountain to climb now against Dominic Hasek. 11:26 remaining in the second period. 2-0 Buffalo. Ron Tugnut started game 1. Damian Rhodes game 2 and game 3. And that's a tough one, boy. When you have a goal scored like that, a goal that should have been stopped, it just deflates your hockey club. And the Senators now are going to have to get desperate, or more desperate than they have been. First 2-goal lead in the 8 games that have been played this season.
It's amazing.
Yeah, isn't it? Boy.
There's Buffalo coming up with the puck. Brown trying to gain center ice. Banks it ahead and over the line. Oh, Grosek is offside. Oh, brother.
Well, what a play, though. That board pass, I love to see that. And Curtis Brown executed it beautifully. Just the timing off slightly, according to the linesman. And it was whistled on the offside. Curtis Brown setting up the 2-on-1 on the defenseman, Lokinen. And Michael Grosek a half step inside the line in a face-off in the neutral zone.
Oh, as you know, going with them, too.
Oh, yeah. What a beautiful play that was. Or almost.
Woolley Takes a look, gets it up the middle to Brown. He gets checked. It's tapped back in on a delayed offside. Woolley takes it away to Patrick. Patrick on the wing. Grosek feeding one in. Brown racing in after it along with Phillips. Right around on the boards. Grosek battling with third. Grosek kept it in to Brown. Off his skate around behind the net. Woolley pinches in to keep it in there and does. Now Phillips will try and muscle it out and gets it out through center ice. Taken back by Patrick. Patrick took a hit better than the other direction. It makes it in over the line. Grosek trying to catch up with it, but it's icing Buffalo. 10.5 to go here in the second period.
Well, James Patrick, Lindy Ruff put him in the lineup in game 2. He was very good, strong. Of course, you love to have that experience back there in composure. 81 career playoff games, 34 points, 72 penalty minutes. James Patrick has been a very valuable member of this hockey club, and Lindy Ruff showing his confidence here in the playoffs in number 3. So back to this matchup again. Pekka and Yashin ready for the face-off here to the left of Dominik Hasek.
Big battle for it in the circle. It comes back for Salo. The long shot goes wide of the net. Verada swings it behind the net, but kept in there by McEachern. Verada after it in the corner, bumping with tackle. Yashin comes up with the puck. Took a quick shot that goes wide. Round on the other side. Salo holding it in. And it's given away to Ward. Ward dropped it back to Pekka to Verada at center. Verada, Zhitnik goes with him. Verada getting it over the line. Took his shot. Rhodes back that away. Verada keeping it in there. Got it around behind the net. McEachern comes up with it, and Schmelik had a chunk of him. Ward at his own line, getting away from Dacko, finding Verada, went off his skate. Pekka carries on. Pekka tried to back pass. It's intercepted, comes to center, and drilled right back in by Pekka. Skips around to the boards. Verada dumped it toward the net. Goes after his own rebound. In behind the net, Pekka to Verada again. Verada bumping with Yashin. Verada trying to get away. Gets mugged by Yashin, who will get a penalty here. The Sabres still have possession of the puck. It's cleared all the way back to center ice. McKee fires it across, and Verada chucks it in, and now the whistle will go, and Ottawa will be shorthanded.
And now Yashin hurts his club by tackling Václav Verada behind the net. So this has been a playoff series so far for Alexei Yashin that he'd rather forget. And Jacques Martin's hockey club now, this is critical to try to kill this penalty off. There's Buffalo with a 2-0 lead here with 9:36 remaining in the second period, a holding penalty. And that was really a result to a poor play by the Senators in the zone, and a dumb penalty by Yashin as he tackled and pulled down Verada. The Sabres, Lindy said this morning, he said, we have to play much more disciplined hockey. He said we cannot continue to go steadily to the penalty box. And they have played discipline here so far in this game. Sabres only one penalty where the Senators have the man advantage.
Tip back to the point. Woolley keeping it in. Woolley swings it around behind the net. Salo tried to intercept. Ward kept it in there to Holzinger. Zhitnik. He keeps it in. They jam again. Now the Senators hook it high in the air and roll it down the ice.
And Jacques Martin going with 2 defensive players up front, John Van Allen and Bill Berg, even though the Senators were trailing by 2.
Woolley stacks away. Woolley swinging one in, around behind the Ottawa net to the corner. Brown leaving it there. They poke it around on the boards again. Lokinen took a dive. Brown got it back to the point. Now it comes to Zhitnik. Lets it go! Rhodes grabs that one and hangs on to it.
One of the problems Buffalo had the first time they enjoyed the man advantage, 3 times shots were blocked from the defenseman or from their pointman. That time Zhitnik quickly gone a beautiful pass from Jason Woolley, and a great glove save by Damian Rhodes. We just had a look at what a great replay that was as a puck went through a maze of bodies in front, and Brian Holzinger came within an inch of deflecting the puck by Rhodes. Boy, that was close. But the point is, point men get your shots through, and that way you at least have a chance to deflect it or score or a loose puck or rebound. If you end up shooting it into the forward who's charging at you, nothing happens. Puck usually ends up in the neutral zone in your own end of the rink.
Pekka at the bench, getting A new stick, 1:17 remaining in the action penalty.
Now, Grosek is on the ice here, along with Junot.
And precipitated probably by the fact that Miro Shatan has gone to the dressing room after he was hit by the Zhitnik shot earlier in the period. No report on him yet. Zhitnik bringing it out himself. Slipped it up on the wing, went behind Grosek, but Junot got it in over the line. Tried to leave it back there, spun back into the corner. Lokinen taking off the puck. Came back to the point, but it goes to center ice. Zhitnik covered up back there to Pekka. He gets it into Woolley. Woolley sails it around behind it. Junot chasing in after it, trying to dig it free. Pekka does. Pekka sending it back to Woolley. Woolley winding up. Clear right beside the net, and Junot couldn't get a good piece of it. Get back in behind the goal again. Salo bumping with Grosek, who goes down. Junot comes up with the puck. He forces it back to the point, but it's intercepted, and away goes Alfredsson. Alfredsson coming now to the Buffalo line. Lokinen started with him, then peels off and goes to the bench. There's a chance! And Van Allen's shot is deflected and goes out of play.
Now Buffalo in the lead 2-0 with 7:49 remaining here in the second period. Let's check tonight's Xerox Fast Fact. And this is only the second time in Sabre playoff history that Buffalo has won the first 2 games of a 7-game series on the road. They did it one other time against the Bruins back in 1993 and went on to sweep Boston.
Yep. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
You can still see him taking that puck, faking the shot, freezing the goaltender, and stepping out around and firing it in on the forehand.
And beating Ray Bork.
Yeah, that's right, it was.
There's a long shot. That one doesn't get through, and Primo starts back. Primo up on the wing to Verada. Verada wrestling in there, left it for Primo. Buffalo still the man advantage in the dying seconds of the penalty. Primo works it back into the corner. Verada got grabbed. There's another penalty coming up to York. The evidence is on the ice. Jason York didn't have a stick, so he used his glove.
And the reason he didn't have a stick is Verada. He got tangled up with Verada. And when we return, Buffalo again on the power play.
Where's Jason?
He's going out in his own.
He can't do that. He hasn't finished his training.
We can't let them think we're too small. Let's go.
You've got the knowledge, you've got the internet. Just show them what you know, and you can compete with the big boys.
We know that.
Now that looks professional.
It has to. This document represents us.
Wait.
Jason, they're doing fine.
They have Xerox digital copiers and printers.
I really did think that Xerox only worked with big businesses.
Keep the conversation going. Share the knowledge. The Digital Document Company. Xerox.
The world used to be so big, and now it's gotten smaller.
It's changing every second.
Every day there's something new. Change.
I see it every day.
Change is an antidote to boredom.
The way we do business is totally different from what it was 30 years ago.
I have investments now.
Where the agents have changed.
Change is scary.
Change is exciting.
Kids teach you about change.
You've got a new house, a new mortgage.
One generation makes its mark, then it's up to the next.
Change is good, I hope.
Your world is changing, and to help you make the most of it, so are we. Marine Midland is now HSBC.
And that's how you win.
Jason York lost his stick and interfered with Václav Verada. Puck was up along the right wing boards in the Ottawa zone, and York made sure Verada didn't get there. So another opportunity here for Buffalo on the power play to go up 3-0. 7:33 remaining here in the second period.
Holzinger, who has Buffalo's second goal, winning the draw to Zhitnik, clears it across ice. A shot! Goal!
Well, Buffalo winning the faceoff in the zone. That was the beginning. A beautiful pass across, and I think it was Primo who went to the front of the net and deflected it by the goaltender. Zhitnik, a great pass to Woolley, and Buffalo scores to make it 3-0 with 7:27 remaining here in the second period. And as you mentioned too, Holzinger certainly had a chance at that one also. And we'll have to wait for the official announcement. But the fact Buffalo winning the faceoff is what started that one.
I guess it matters not. What does matter is it's 3-0. Puck scooped around on the boards. Now the Senators keeping it in the Buffalo end. They all kick at it again. Warner takes it away, rings it around on the glass. Too far for Verada. He charges after it along with Ritton. They go to the corner together. Punched around behind the net. Kruskal coming up with it. Ahead for Alfredson. Getting it out to center ice. Senators bringing it in. Johansson in over the line. His shot right on. And Hasek has a hold of that one. And no Senator will get near him.
And Buffalo again, though, good coverage coming into the zone. And the Senators did not mount any forecheck. Dominic Hasek, seven shots in the first period, 6 shots in the second period. And Yashin still looking for his first point in the series. And I think we're going to see a lot of him from here on. But the puck was tipped by either Primo or Holzinger in front of the Ottawa goaltender on the power play to make it 3-0.
There's Pekka coming up with the puck now. Up on the wing to Ward. Ward out to center ice. Off Verada, and it bounces in wide of the net. Rhodes tipping it away. Pekka, quick shot, and Rhodes reached out and made the save. Held in by McKee. McKee tapping it to the corner to Ward. He'll get it back to McKee. Does. McKee flipping it into the corner. Verada and Yashin are battling behind the net. Pekka got it out in front. Back to the point. Another penalty coming up here to Ottawa. Yashin will go again. Second time he's clashed with Verada. Second time he's headed to the sin bin.
Well, total lack of discipline by Alexei Yashin. He's the captain of the team. He's the guy that they look to and depend on. And he roughed up Verada behind the net and ended up with another penalty. And Buffalo with a chance to score again on the power play, up 3-0. What a horrible time Alexei Yashin has had in this series. And this game isn't over, of course. And this series isn't finished. Jacques Martin is a very quiet, composed gentleman on the outside. And right now on the inside, he is burning. And the Sabres send Pekka up front along with Junot. And let's see, it'll be Verada, Zhipnik, and Woolley on the point.
Slides down the ice. Left for Woolley. Alfredson keeping an eye on him. He peels away, and Jason Woolley starts out. Has Pekka going with him. He likes to give it to Zhipnik instead. Around on the boards it goes. Pekka kicked it back behind the net. Ottawa gunning it around on the board. Zhipnik keeping it in. Zhipnik for Junot, and it goes all the way to the corner to Pekka for Verada. Off his skate, goes after it again. Back to Zhipnik. Zhipnik winding up. Got it now to Junot. Junot to Zhipnik, and it's deflected and knocked down the ice by Alfredson. Sabres are changing, as are the Senators. 1:15 left in the Yashin penalty. Less than 6 to go in the second period. There's the puck stolen away by Van Allen, flipping it up to Berg. Berg just squeezes it in. Hasek playing it around behind the net. Junot, a cross-ice pass for Zhipnik. Zhipnik trying to come up with the puck. Lokinen took it back, however. And it's fed now in over the Buffalo line. Woolley recovering. Less than a minute to go in the penalty. Out to center ice. Junot couldn't catch up with it. Senators bringing it back in again. Taken away by Woolley. Off the board. Brown hooks it across ice. Sabres starting back again. Holzinger rips in over the line. Here's Holzinger. Put it right in front, and Brown couldn't pick it out of the air. Ottawa coming back again. Dackel to the Buffalo line and over. Dackel trying to squeeze it through. Taken away by Patrick. And his pass went between Holzinger's legs and right down the ice. And it's icing against Buffalo.
Now the short pass, James Patrick tried to feed it ahead to the forward Verada, but it missed him, and another faceoff coming up here in the Buffalo zone. Brian Holzinger indeed deflected the puck for his second goal of the hockey game on the power play. Woolley and Zhipnik draw the assists on the goal. And penalty minutes Tonight, in the first game, Buffalo 20 penalty minutes, Ottawa 10. Second, Sabres 22, Ottawa 18. And tonight, Buffalo 4, Ottawa 10 minutes in penalties. And one of the Sabre goals in the special teams, a power play. That last one by Holzinger to make it 3-0.
Schmelik tried to tip it to the corner. Does. 15 seconds left in the Buffalo power play. Chance for one more rush if they get it moving. Schmelik slips it out to center ice. Brown starts away to Ward. In over the line. He's taken out by York and flipped. Oh, and Ward just failed to keep it in there. Now stuffed across to Bonk as the Senators return to full strength. Bonk dribbles one into the corner. Schmelik catching up with it. Yashin chases him behind the net. Out to Ward. Ward high in the air through center. It went behind Holzinger. Tipped in the other direction. Schmelik works it off, and it's fed off the boards now and right out of play. 4:06 to go here in the second period. Buffalo a 3-0 lead. Brian Holzinger has a pair.
Poor Yuri. Oh, you hate to see that happen. Players in the NHL don't take that kind of abuse.
Someone make him stop!
So, you know, being an instructor with the Navy SEALs isn't all it's cracked up to be.
You are getting desperate.
No, I'm always like this. I really have no chance with you girls, do I? Be honest, I can take it.
Yes, but we cannot.
You all are like angels, I tell you.
This guy is making me sick.
Hey, you're not the only one.
During Adventure 99, buy a Dodge Dakota, and Dodge will give you a $1,000 cash allowance. Or you can choose a vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. It's the adventure of a lifetime. And we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Sabres up 3-0 here in this second period. 4:06 left in the second. Coming up in our second intermission, I'll talk to defenseman Jason Woolley. We'll go back to Empire Studios, and Rick and Jim Weather now. It's up to you guys.
On the face-off, it's stuffed out to center ice. Primo getting in over the line. Left it there. Goes after it again. Right in front. A shot by Grosek right on. Rhodes knocked that away. Grosek bangs it around to the boys. Kept in by Warner, spinning it behind the net. Grosek chasing after it again and keeping it in there to Primo. He battles away with Hossa. Grosek joining the fray in the corner, but the Senators pick it up. Can't get it out. Kept in by Buffalo. Knocked down again. Ottawa can't get it out of there. Here's Croswell ducking away from Rasmussen's check. A quick shot. Right on by Grosek. Senators wheeling it up down to Emerson. Nelson Emerson squeezes one in and heads off on a change. 3:20 to go in the second period. McKee, being watched, shovels it around behind the net to Warner. Warner flipped it around the boards, didn't get it out, however. Ottawa keeping it in there again. Back to the point, Loken in the shot, and Hasek saw that one coming all the way and looked it right into his glove, and then Alfredson came across and shoved McKee into Hasek. As we look at our out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Milko Express Shop. All these games final from this afternoon. Pittsburgh again without Jaromir Jagr, again upsetting New Jersey 4-2. Phoenix had a 4-0 lead in St. Louis, held on to win 5-4, and Detroit doubled up on Anaheim 4-2. Still to come at 9:30 tonight, Dallas and Edmonton resume their battle with Dallas up by a couple of games.
Well, Jacques Martin shaking his head on the bench. 3:06 to go in the second period. They need to score a goal here before the second period closes to have any chance of getting back in this game. They've not been able to, for any great extent, get a forecheck going against Buffalo. That's a tribute to the way the Sabre defensive played, and also a reason because the Senators have taken 3 straight penalties here in the second. Very undisciplined play, which is not like them.
Barnes trying to work it out of there. Can't do it. It's stuffed back into the corner. Johansson getting knocked down, but Zhitnik lost his stick. Came in front of the net. Oh, a nice play by Schmelik to send it off the boards and down the ice. It's going to go right to Rhodes, and he flipped it away from Cruz, who came over to run into Phillips. Senators get it out to center. Zhitnik leaving it there. Tried to get it to Barnes. Taken back by Chris Phillips. Phillips with 2.5 minutes remaining in the period. Sending it ahead. That's knocked down at center ice. Boy, there's not much room to move out there now. And Johansson and Brown going at it. And Johansson threw a punch at Brown and flipped out and went down. Swung to Yashin trying to get away. Brown's right on him. Finally recovered and worked ahead to Dackel. Dackel in over the line. Takes his shot. That one deflected to the outside of the net. Schmelik tying up his man, but it's kicked in there now by Yashin. Took his shot. Hasek knocked it away. Barnes trying to get it out of there. Can't do it. Pulled in by McEachern to Yashin. Yashin working around behind the net. Back to McEachern again. McEachern's charging after it in the corner. Gets decked by Schmelik. Schmelik flipped it around on the boards. And McEachern works him over from behind. Now Yashin grappling in there. So is McEachern. So is Schmelik. And well, the posse arrives on the scene.
Richard Schmelik, what a game he's having again tonight. He has just been superb in this playoff series against Ottawa. He played, as I mentioned, along with Zipnik, primarily against Yashin in game one. And Schmelik has just been strong tonight again. But I'll tell you, the one thing, you're up 3-0 Buffalo ahead. You cannot get lazy or nonchalant in the neutral zone. And Stu Barnes ended up with a weak backhand play as he tried to shoot the puck in. It was picked off by Ottawa, and the Senators really stormed back into the Buffalo zone, and for the first time in a long time, they managed to get some pressure on Buffalo. So the point is, and I'm sure the coaching staff will continually remind the players, no drop passes, get the puck into the Ottawa zone deep, force the defense to go back for it.
And most importantly, this game ain't over.
Exactly, and you've got to keep your concentration, your composure, and you've got to keep sticking to the game plan. Don't get fancy. Now's not the time.
Winning the draw from Van Allen. Taken by Woolley behind the net, around the boards. Verado hooked it free. This one will dribble its way down the ice, but not far enough for icing. The Senators back to recover with 1.5 minutes remaining in the second period here at the Marine Midland Arena, game number 3. Buffalo up 2-0. And now a pass up on the wing is going to elude everybody except Patrick, who picks it up to force an icing call back in Ottawa territory.
Sean Van Allen, you need a glove on your stick to catch that pass, as he wasn't anywhere near his
cross stick.
His winger. And he's not too happy about that, but the face-off coming up here to the right of the goaltender. Sean Van Allen is not going to score many goals. He had 6 in the regular season. Nelson Emerson, who has 3 points for Ottawa, is on the ice to take this face-off against Primo with 1:20 to go in the second period.
Primo winning the draw. Woolley screen shot right on, and Rhodes got a pad on that. York up with it in the corner. Primo steps into him. Here's Rasmussen to Primo, and he couldn't get it in front of Verada. Back come the Senators, trying to flip it up the middle, and broken up by Patrick and chipped out now by Woolley. Ripped across through center ice again. Scooped off into the corner. Less than 1 minute remaining in the second period. Patrick around on the boards. Deflected to the blue line and out to center ice. Ottawa getting it back and hooking it back in over the line. Woolley catches up with it. He's in no particular hurry to move it. And he gets it on the wing, and Patrick sends it through center. It jumped away from Verada. And back after it, Sallow. Sallow to center ice, carrying on. Fosco brought it in over the line, and boy, they ruled that one offside. That was awfully close.
Sure was, but again, Jay McKee, though, challenging at the blue line. And that's what forced the offside. But the Buffalo defense just continues to play superbly here tonight with some help from their forwards. A good job of back-checking by Buffalo, and Senators just cannot get a forecheck going. Certainly not anywhere near like they did in game 1. And Jay McKee broke up the play as Prospol tried to maneuver around him and couldn't do it.
Kravchuk working it to Prospol. Prospol gaining center ice. Broken up by Junot, however. He flips it out to Pekka. Pekka guiding it across now to Warner. His long shot finds the glass. Only 12 seconds remaining in the period. Pekka picked it out of the air to Ward. Ward tried to drop it off, got it to Juneau. He's bumped by Alfredson, who comes up with the puck right in front of his own net, but he got away with it, and it's sent through center ice as the horn signals the end of the second period, and Alfredson tried to spear Warner as he went by, and the Ottawa Senators are losing not only the game, but they're cool.
No, they've got to get a hold of themselves. Brian Holzinger, a huge period for Buffalo. He made it 2-0 on a backhand shot, then made it 3-0 on a deflection on the power play. And the Ottawa Senators, who are one of the best teams in the NHL, are not playing up to their statistics. And Buffalo really shutting them down. The Senators with very few quality scoring chances in this game. As we check our Toyota statistics after 40, Buffalo with 20 shots on goal to 16 for Ottawa. Sabres 24 face-off wins. Senators 26 in the scoring chances. Only 4 for Ottawa and 8 for Buffalo.
So it's going to be up to Jacques Martin and his coaching staff to try and regroup his team in the dressing room now between the second and third period and try to force this game into, well, at least try to come back and tie it anyway and force it into an overtime situation. I think asking Ottawa to score 4 goals on Dominic Hasek in one period might be a bit much as we go to Danny Gare.
Well, Rick, I'm here with defenseman Jason Woolley, and Jason, a couple of big goals in that second period, but a big power play goal that you were a part of. Talk a little bit about that goal.
Well, it's just a clean draw right back to Z, and Z did a great job of faking the shot, and I just kind of opened up for it. And the name of the game now is get everything at the nets, and everything's, you know, a lucky bounce, and it goes in. It's great for us.
You're up 3-0. Lindy Ruff has given the defenseman the green light pretty much this series. Do you do and jump into play as much in that third?
No, I think being up 3-0 in your play to this, the score of the game, we're going to be a little more conservative and just make sure I'm playing solid defensively and getting the puck out of our zone.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Danny.
Rick?
I have a feeling I'd go along with Jason and say that conservatism will be the word of the period for Buffalo in the third period. The Sabres with 3 in the game, 2 from Brian Holzinger. The second one, he just gets a piece of it.
Life is a journey, a drive through Main Street America, a cruise down the interstate. And around every turn, there's Chevrolet, like Chevy Malibu. Lease one now with automatic transmission, air conditioning, and anti-lock brakes for only $229 a month, and just $229 due at lease signing. Chevy Malibu. Lease one now for only $229 a month. See your Chevrolet dealer today.
If you're having debt problems, we can help. We're Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Buffalo.
Your credit counseling program's the best thing that ever happened to us. You taught us how to budget. And next month, we're buying our first home.
Our counseling is free and confidential. We're here to help. Call 854-1710.
So, mister, it seems you've been quite the comedian.
Well, young man, what has our little prankster been up to this week?
Bringing in your sister's underpants for show and tell?
Making bacon out of little Billy's 4-H project.
Putting cow manure in Coach Wiggins' shoes?
What do you have against gerbils?
Do you know where smart Alex like you end up?
Morning radio.
Shred and Reagan, mornings on 103.3 The Edge.
Let's get ready for the main event.
Hello, Doyle. Listen, you're in big trouble this year. I've got the best prices ever on every Chevrolet they make.
Oh, yeah? We'll see about that, Paddock. You can't beat my Ford prices.
They're at it again. Now through Monday, Paddock Chevrolet and Jim Doyle Ford are locked in a classic battle to determine once and for all who's going to deliver the knockout prices. Get ready for the best deals ever on brand new Jim Doyle Fords or Paddock Chevrolets.
So who do you think's going to win?
The customer.
Brian Holzinger nets a pair in the second period. Sabres over the Senators 3-0. Brian Blessing, Mike Robitaille in the Empire Studios. Let me get this straight. The Senators have to beat Hasek 3 times in 20 minutes, 3 times?
If that happens, I'll make you a computer. How's that?
Oh, I'd like to see that.
When I'm done making you watch.
Let's go to Danny Gare. Danny, he deserves it, doesn't he? I mean, Hasek stands on his head twice in Ottawa, And tonight, very limited scoring opportunities for the Senators. Buffalo doing a great job.
Yeah, they are all over the ice, and you have to give credit not only to the defense, but to the forwards. I think they've really come back and helped out the defense, back-checking. Their fourth and fifth forwards keep coming back hard all the time, and it's helping the defense move the puck quickly out of their zone.
Boy, that's so important, isn't it? When that defense, I mean, when you have to deal with the speed of Ottawa, and to have those forwards supporting you down low, Danny, it makes all the difference in the world. And that's, once again, that's teamwork. And you can't win without it.
I agree with you. And, you know, one of the things that I noticed about Dominic when I'm standing behind the Zamboni is the way he quarterbacks everybody. He's the guy back there that yells at where the rebounds are going to go. He also talks to the defensemen where to move the puck. And, in turn, he'll talk even to forwards and where they want him positioned in front of Dominic. So he controls a lot of that, and I think that the Sabres defensemen have done a great job blocking shots and moving the puck.
All right, Danny, Sabres sitting chilly now. Let's see what happens in the third. We'll talk to you after the game on Hockey Hotline. We're going to step aside, return with an Empire Sports Report update. Mike DeGeorge will do the honors for you. We'll see you after the game on Hockey Hotline. Enjoy that third period.
Imagine TV. Why just settle for the moon when you can also have the stars? The Mercury Sable LS Touring Edition with a 5-star crash test rating, plus both financing less than 1% and $500 cash back. This Sable has moonroof, leather, and ABS with Mercury value packaging. That's over $2,200 in no-charge extras, yet it's over $5,000 less than Camry XLE. So why settle for ordinary when you can drive extraordinary? Imagine yourself in a Mercury.
The Enclave program is designed to place clients in a real production work environment. Each program participant must learn 60 different jobs here at Harlequin, and the excellent results speak for themselves.
Suburban Adult Services, building a foundation for the future.
Where's Jason?
He's going out on his own.
He can't do that. He hasn't finished his training.
We can't let them think we're too small. Let's go.
You've got the knowledge. You've got the internet. Just show them what you know, and you can compete with the big boys.
We know that.
Now that looks professional.
It has to. This document represents us.
Wait.
Jason, they're doing fine.
They have Xerox digital copiers and printers.
I really did think that Xerox only worked with big businesses.
Keep the conversation going. Share the knowledge. The Digital Document Company, Xerox.
The big new Walden Dodge grand opening. No money down used Super Savers start at $129 a month. Escorts, Sables, Saturns, Neons, Tauruses, Tempos, Corsicas, or Achievas, only $129 a month at Walden Dodge across from Galleria Mall.
Even as a kid, I was a little different. I had this fascination with wireless phones.
We were a little concerned about Davy, to be honest.
But now that I work at Cellular One, I finally fit in. And thanks to Right Rate, every day I get to help our customers make sure they're on the right rate plan.
Woohoo! That rate is right.
This is going to save you major bucks. No. Thank you.
Cellular One, hopelessly focused on wireless.
Sign up with Right Rate and get this Nokia phone free.
It's a glimmer of an idea, focused like a beam of light. It's a moment of brilliance. Fiber optic and digital technologies are the future, and Adelphia continues to make extraordinary investments in these bright ideas, outshining the competition by bringing the future into your home today. Adelphia, your link for everything.
Good evening, I'm Mike DeGeorge with an Empire Sports Report update. He was the playoff MVP last season, leading the Detroit Red Wings to their second straight Stanley Cup. And in the first round, this time around, Stevie Yzerman showing last year's performance was no con job. Red Wings in Anaheim for Game 3. Paul Correa trying to get the Ducks swimming. Tied at 1 in the first. Jason Marshall scoring, making it 2-1 Anaheim. But in the second, tied at 2. Stevie Y taking the pass and banging it home. His 5th goal in the 3 games. Detroit wins at 4-2. They lead the series 3-0. Dallas, Edmonton just starting. The New Jersey and Pittsburgh, Martin Straka the hat trick as Pittsburgh winning 4-2 and Phoenix winning for a second straight day. They win in St. Louis 5-4. International League Baseball at North America Park this afternoon. Syracuse Sky Chiefs erupting for 5 runs in their first at-bat against the Bisons. A 5-run first, the key for Syracuse as they beat Buffalo 6-4. It's the 4th straight time already this young season that the Chiefs have beaten the Bisons. And how about the football future of a future Hall of Famer? We know John Elway is about to retire, but how about Bills running back Thurman Thomas? How many more years does he want to play? We'll hear from the Thurminator coming up at 10:30 on the Empire Sports Report. But for now, it's back to Marine Midland and tonight's third period after 40 minutes, 3-0 Buffalo.
Once-in-a-lifetime magic as Darien Lake transforms into Six Flags Darien Lake.
Hey, no problem. So, what's new?
Just this. A $169 a month Corolla lease. Right now, your Toyota dealer's making it so easy to get into a Toyota for less. Ah, pretty good, huh, Nick? But this $169 a month Corolla lease is just for a short time, so I'd get a move on, buddy, if I were you.
Hey, that is big news. Here you go. Next.
Hey, watch the cord, will ya?
Sabres now enjoy their largest lead of the whole season in games between the Ottawa Senators and the Sabres. 3-0 after 2 periods here at the Marine Midland Arena. But again, I am absolutely positive that the Sabres are being cautioned that there's still 20 minutes at least left in this game.
Well, the Ottawa Senators had, 103 points this year, and you don't get that many points by mistake, and you don't get that many points without coming from behind a few times. So I'm sure Lindy Ruff and the coaching staff trying to calm their club down and try to get them to play a solid conservative period.
But speaking of calming people down, I think Jacques Martin's got the same problem, because I just see Ottawa taking bad penalties, and particularly the fellow who's supposed to lead them to the promised land, their captain, Alexei Yashin, he's taken 2 of the bad penalties.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they're just coming apart at the seams. And when you look at Yashin, if you're a member of the Ottawa Senators, you look to him for leadership and for him to show you the way. And what are you seeing? You're not seeing much again tonight, and you haven't throughout the series. He's rattled, the whole team is rattled. So what they're looking for is some kind of a lucky bounce, anything to try to get them going again.
Buffalo had a 1-0 lead at the end of the first, but then added a pair in the second.
Well, the second goal they scored should have been stopped, but it was a great shoot-in, and Woolley shot the puck into James Patrick. He actually tried to play the puck around back behind the net. It went to Brian Holzinger, who spun and beat the goaltender with a backhand shot. Damian Rhodes should have made the save on this. Then the power play off of face-off. Sabres win the draw. Jason Woolley takes a perfect pass from Zipnik, and the puck deflected in front off of Primo, and then Holzinger deflected it by the goaltender for the power play goal and the 3-0 lead for the Buffalo Sabres. And that was a excellent job of winning the draw, and then, of course, getting the puck on the net. So important in today's game, as Jason Woolley was telling Danny Gare.
And you're going to find a couple of Buffalo goals, therefore, on the Discover Card scoring summary. Holzinger's first and second. Patrick and Woolley setting up the first one, but then the clincher, as far as Buffalo was concerned, on the power play to really distance themselves from the Senators. It's Woolley and Zipnik gaining the assists on that one. So, Buffalo and Ottawa Senators awaiting the start of third period action here at the Marine Midland Arena.
You know we're the truck giant. And now see why we're the truck giant.
Orleans Ford Mercury stands above the rest in service and selection when it's time to buy the truck you want. Call 1-888-5-ORLEANS for Orleans Ford and Mercury, or take the short drive to Medina, New York, halfway between Buffalo and Rochester.
Delivering nature's best since 1852, or maybe beyond.
You change your oil every 3,000 miles, right? No, do you? You push it. Now you're so busy you try to squeeze another 1,000 miles out of your oil. Or more. Well, squeeze this. Just to do it yourself when you have the time. Reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. Anybody say insurance? It's been tested. And unlike that lazy uncle nobody really likes to talk about, it works. So go get some. Quaker State. Sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
What makes it super is satisfaction. Auto Choice Superstore.
Announcing Western New York's newest Hyundai dealership, Town Hyundai, at Auto Choice. Unbeatable savings on this '99 Hyundai Accent for $84.95, a '99 Hyundai Elantra for $11,695, a '99 Hyundai Sonata for $15,695. The Hyundai Advantage is America's best warranty. Auto Choice Superstore now offers the Hyundai line to its unbeatable selection of cars, where satisfaction is always guaranteed.
Buffalo Sabres Hockey on Empire is brought to you in part by Discover Card, a cashback bonus award with every single thing you buy. It pays to discover. By Pepsi, the joy of cola. And by Tops. Tops never stops giving you more.
Here at the Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo, the Sabres lead the Senators 3-0. One of our keys before this series started was four guys. Verada, Brown, Barnes, and Holzinger had to score in this series. Verada was on a 30-game scoreless streak. Brown 23 games, Barnes 21, and Holzinger 16. Well, stroked two guys off that list. Curtis Brown scored a goal in game one. That was the winning goal on the power play. And Brian Holzinger has exploded for 2 goals here tonight. And Václav Verada, let's see, we'll check. The last time he scored a goal was January the 18th, and Stu Barnes, it's been since March the 3rd. But when you're winning hockey games, doesn't matter. You're not worrying about who's scoring goals and who isn't. You're just trying to contribute if you're not scoring in any way that you possibly can.
And again, Miro Shatan has a bruised foot after he was hit on a shot by Alexei Zhitnik. He will not return tonight. Buffalo up by 3, and third period is underway. Zhitnik to get to center. He spins one in over the blue line. Salo comes up with it. Salo banks it off the boards. Grosek knocked it down, gloved it ahead to Brown, so that will result in a stoppage of play.
And so that means with the absence of Miroslav Shatan, Michael Grosek is taking his position with Curtis Brown and Joe Juneau. Boy, Grosek has played excellent hockey again tonight. He's behaved himself. Stayed out of penalty trouble. He took 3 minors in the opening game, 2 in the second game of the series. And tonight he hasn't taken any and has 5 shots on goal. 30 career playoff games, 16 points, and 46 penalty minutes. Of course, he was great in last year's playoffs for Buffalo, and he seems to be getting his game going again here tonight.
Kravchuk ripping it around on the boards. Just failed to keep it in, and away goes Kravchuk to center. Long shot. Hasek scoops that away. Then he elects to hang on to it as Van Allen tumbled over top of him, and I don't think you can blame Van Allen on that play.
Well, Dominic Hasek looked as though he may want to continue the play as he stopped the shot by Kravchuk, but thought better of it and fell on it for the faceoff. Well, the Senators here down 3-0. You would think that they would start to gamble and become much more aggressive than they have been in this game. Offensively, they really haven't threatened Dominik Hasek. Kravchuk, you expect that he's a defenseman along with Salo. You would expect them to stay in at the blue line and attempt to get something going for Ottawa.
Kept in to Kravchuk, long shot. Hasek scoops that into the corner for Zhitnik. Get around the boards, Junot sending it to Brown as Junot got dumped. The pass to Grosek in over the line. Trying to drag it through. Took the shot. Oh, and it grazed the crossbar. And now the net is sent flying as Grosek went flying into the post.
Boy, what a great play that was. And not only by Michael Grosek, but Joey Junot made the play coming out of the Buffalo zone. He knew he was going to get hammered, took the check, and made a great pass in the neutral zone to Curtis Brown. And then Michael Grosek, with some beautiful stick handling, maneuvered his way right to the front of the net. And I think when he went to shoot the puck flipped up on end and banged harmlessly against the glass. So a face-off here to the right of the goaltender.
Buffalo keeping it in at the point. McKee sends it off into the corner. York feeding it around behind the net. Redden's pass up the middle now. Over on the wing it comes. Racing after it in the corner, Johansson. Redden tried to line him up, and Johansson spun out and went down. Maybe it's a good thing. Yashin attempting to dig it free. They all jam in there now. Back to the point, and it's shot right on as Redden let it go. Ward comes up with it, out at center to Verada. Well, they actually picked it up on the Ottawa side of the red line, so that will be an offside.
Well, Verada certainly has done his job tonight. He's caused Yashin to take a couple of penalties, caused Jason York to take a penalty. And those are the nights I mentioned. He hadn't scored a goal since January the 24th, or make that January the 18th. You have to contribute in other ways, and Verada has certainly done that here tonight. And if Buffalo's going to be successful, they need Verada being his old nasty self. Well, Jacques Martin switched lines. He had Yashin out there along with different line mates. Andreas Johansson was one of them to try to get something going.
Patrick swings it around on the boards. Barnes cut off by Lokkonen, and then gave it away to Woolley. Woolley got it up on the wing, and it's guided out to Primo. Primo shovels it ahead, trying to get it to Barnes, who's slowed down by Hossa. Barnes flies in there to Primo again, taken away by Hossa. He comes back for Ottawa to the Buffalo line. Great move to the outside, but Rasmussen came right back on him, and it's cleared through center ice again. Falk charging after it. He with no helmet. Across to Lokkonen. Lokkonen feeding it up the middle. Alfredson starting away to McEachern. He took a quick shot. That goes wide of the net. Reaches out and grabs a hold. As we go to Danny Gare.
Well, thanks, Rick. As you mentioned earlier that Miro Shatan had gone to the hospital for x-rays on his right foot when he took this shot here coming from Zhitnik on the point, and he is gone now. But also one of the forwards for the Ottawa Senators, Bruce Gardner, I just saw him walking out of the Marine Midland Arena. He took a shot also, so he's going to x-ray also at the hospital. Up to you guys.
Well, the face-off coming up here to the right of Dominik Hasek. 3-0 Buffalo. 18 minutes remaining in regulation time.
Senators winning the draw to Kravchuk when he gunned it across ice, and no chance for Salo to pick up that pass. Buffalo coming back again. Zhitnik slipping in with a backhand. Rhodes knocks it away, and then he elects to hang on to it as Cruz was there.
Now that was a poor play by Salo in the neutral zone. The Senators at Kravchuk, not a good play by him either, as he whipped it across to Salo, and Salo couldn't control it. Went back about 4 or 5 steps and then just threw the puck away, and Buffalo counterattacked, and that's not what you want to do in those areas. Igor Kravchuk been in the playoffs 5 times, his second with the Senators. Face-off will be to the left of Damian Rhodes. Holzinger, Grosek, and Cruz up front for Buffalo.
Holzinger winning the draw to Schmelik. His long shot goes wide of the net. Grosek is on Salo, but the Senators come up with it to McEachern, feeding it away to center ice. Taken back by Schmelik and stolen away by Kravchuk. Cruz flipped it right back in the other direction. Here's a pass to Holzinger. Holzinger leading it. Cruz guns it over top of the net. Cruz after it again to keep it in there. Sends it into Holzinger down low. Cruz jams his way along the boards. Kravchuk getting it back. And Kravchuk just flips that one that ends up in behind the Ottawa bench.
I think what we're going to see here in the third period is Lindy Ruff go back to Michael Pekka against Alexei Yashin. I mentioned earlier, Lindy certainly did it in the first period, but only because Jacques Martin, I think, afforded him the opportunity to do that. In the second, Lindy really didn't seem that concerned with it. But I think we'll see it here in the third with Buffalo with a 3-0 lead. You see Yashin with a total of 16 shifts, and 9 of them have been against Michael Pekka. Of course, when we talk about Pekka, we're always Pekka Yashin and Yashin Pekka. But there are 4 other players out there too: Ward, Verada, and in this case, Warner and McKee.
York got it around on the boards, but Ward kept it in there. Now Yashin turning. Game bothered by Verada. Slings it up ahead. Senators to bring it back again. York had it taken away. Finally comes up with the puck, waiting for his teammates to get onside. Dackel has fallen. It's tapped around on the boards, and Warner clears the zone. Over 3 minutes have gone here in the third period. 3-0 Buffalo. Senators coming back for Dackel. He'll tip it in to the Buffalo corner. McKee in there after it. McKee flings it around to Pekka. Pekka scooping it high in the air. Verada trying to catch up with it. And he does. He guns it across to Pekka. Sliding in over the line. Pekka flipped it in front of the net, and Verada couldn't quite reach it. Verada now gets bumped by Lokinen. Sent out to center ice. Taken away by Warner to McKee. As you know, and Yashin collided. And now it's sent back into Ottawa territory, and this will result in a face-off against Buffalo. Almost 4 minutes into the third period. Buffalo up 3-0.
You know, we've been together for a while, and I've been thinking. I don't know. I'm missing something from our relationship. I think it's just best if we make a clean break.
Expect more from your credit card. With Discover Platinum, you get a low rate and new double cashback bonus awards. It pays to Discover Platinum.
Check, please. Oh, you'll get this right.
Buick's exciting spring selling event is heating up. Now, in addition to cash allowances of up to $2,500, Buick announces the lowest possible financing rate available. 0% APR, GMAC financing on all 99 Buicks. 0 financing or $2,500 on LeSabre. 0 financing or $2,500 on Park Avenue Ultra. 0 financing on Regal. And 0 financing or $1,000 cash on Century. But hurry, through May 1st only.
Now Dominic Hasek with 19 saves tonight. Rhodes with 19 saves. The problem for Rhodes is he's had 22 shots. 3 of them have gone in. And what does Jacques Martin do in Game 4? Does he go back to Ron Tugnut, or does he stay with Damian Rhodes? Tugnut started Game 1 of the series. I suspect he'll go back to Tugnut.
There's a shot by Lokinen, way wide of the net. Held in by Phillips. Jams it in along the boards again. Senators keep it in. Bonk shot right on. Rebound. That's cleared away, but not out. Lokinen keeping it in there. Got it into the corner. Picked off, and Buffalo will bring it out now. Junot scoops one through center. Taken away by Phillips. He gets dumped. Sabres bring it right back in with Grosek clearing it in. Rhodes has to come out and play it around on the board. Junot kicked at it to keep it in there. That bounces to the blue line. A long shot by Grosek, and that ended up on edge as he let it go, and it's a souvenir.
Dominic Hasek has been special again in this playoffs. First game, he stole the game for Buffalo, and he is now not allowed a goal in the last 82 minutes and 55 seconds. But 15:36 still remaining on the clock here in regulation. And when you're in a hockey game and you're ahead in the Stanley Cup playoffs, that at times can seem like eternity. And for the opposition who's trying to score, it seems to go quick as a wink.
As coming to center ice is whipped ahead to McEachern, but it goes down to Hasek, and he'll give it to Zhitnik. Zhitnik around on the boards. Postol fanned on it. Barnes starts out to Rasmussen. Rasmussen in over the line to Primo. Primo backhand. Rhodes kicked it away. Primo keeping it in there, getting it to Rasmussen again. Rasmussen battling behind the net, still has the puck. Rasmussen swings it back to the point. Shipnick takes his shot, deflected just wide by Primo. Schmellick kept it in, but now the Senators bring it out again. An errant pass went all the way through center ice. Shipnick to Barnes. Barnes flipping it ahead, and Alfredson kicked the feet out from under him on his way to the bench, and this is an icing against Buffalo.
And a face-off coming up here to the left of Dominic Hasek. Boy, I like the way that Wayne Primo has played tonight, along with Eric Rasmussen. They haven't played as much as some of the other forwards, but when they have they ever been effective? And they've done an excellent job on the forecheck. Lindy Ruff has put together a pretty good line. And Daniel Alfredson hit Stu Barnes just moments ago from behind. Didn't see all of it from the replay, but it could have been a slew foot, and Barnes really went down hard.
McKee getting it around to Verada, challenged by Redden. McKee into the corner. Pekka, whoops, that one got out of play. Well, made somebody happy in the crowd. Souvenir of a playoff puck.
Not many seats here tonight. I think they're all sold.
Oh, yes, they sure are.
And that gentleman made a great catch and is really pleased about fielding the puck. And a face-off here to the right of Dominic Hasek.
Playoff tickets for games 4 and 6 are now on sale. There are only single tickets remaining for game 4 on Tuesday night. You can go to Fantastics at any top friendly markets, the Marine Midland Arena box office, or you can call 1-888-223-6000.
Well, Yashin is back on the ice, but he's parked on the left point. They're trying to pull it back to him.
That's knocked free and taken by Verada. Didn't get it out. Warner took a whack at it. Tipped in by the Senators. Redden working it into the corner behind the net. Pekka taking it away. Pekka swings it to the blue line. Not out. Oh, and then Pekka finished his check and decked Dak set around on the boards. Here's Yashin getting it in front of the net, and Hasek grabs that one and hangs on.
Well, Andreas Johansson was whacking away at Dominic Hasek. And I mentioned that Jacques Martin has changed lines here. He's taken McEachran away from Yashin and put Andreas Johansson there, who is a very talented offensive player, and also Andreas Dacko, who usually plays with Yashin, remains on the line. Dominic Hasek, though, covering it up as Yashin fired the puck to the front of the net. And Pekka made certain that Johansson knew that Buffalo didn't appreciate the Ottawa players slashing at their goaltender. I mentioned earlier that the Senators might try to throw Hasek off their game, but the problem is, and I'm sure they would have liked by slashing at his glove or his pads, the problem is they just haven't been able to generate much offense in the Buffalo zone.
Phillips takes a shot. Hasek grabs that one to Patrick. Patrick using the glass, and that's going to elude everybody, and it will be an icing again against the Sabres.
14 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in regulation. Buffalo 3, Ottawa no score. We'd like to take this opportunity to say hello to all of those in area hospitals in southern Ontario and western New York and extend our get well wishes. Well, you always wear nice suspenders.
Darn tootin'.
What does that mean? Nice.
Yeah.
Look at, well, let me just check them out here. What do you got tonight? Oh.
Little gambling move tonight. Woolley sending it around on the glass, and that one got by everybody and goes down the ice. This could be another icing.
You see Buffalo's game plan. I mean, if they're not sure, they're just icing the puck. Everything's off the glass, off the boards. I watched the games last night. Of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs defeating Philadelphia, and then I switched over to the Carolina game, and we saw a lot of that. Just off the glass, off the boards, icing calls, and particularly when you're ahead 3-0. You don't want to make any bad mistakes in your own end. And so Buffalo, their game plan is nothing fancy, just get it out of the zone. And they'll face it off again here to the left of Dominic Hasek.
Holzinger and Emerson. Holzinger winning the draw to Patrick. squeezes it off the boards. Grosek flips it out to center ice. Lokinen comes up with it. He's checked by Holzinger. Holzinger just failed to get away, however. Bonk to the Buffalo line, poking it into the corner. Oh, Bonk just hacked Woolley, and Woolley took a whack at Bonk.
Somebody's getting a penalty. It's Radek Bonk who's going to the box for retaliating on Jason Woolley. And now Paul Cruz is having a chat, or was, with Marian Hossa. So Bonk retaliates, and the Senators continue to hurt themselves in this game. They were the least penalized team in the league, and that means the most disciplined. And they have been the most undisciplined of teams here tonight. And the Sabres have taken full advantage of that. I hesitate to say the Sabres have acted like angels tonight, but darn close to it. And I never thought I'd say that. But that was part of what Lindy Ruff wanted from his club. No nonsense, just play the game hard and stay out of the penalty box. Sabres have accomplished that. In penalty minutes tonight, 4 for Buffalo and 12 for the Senators.
Hasek tipping it back into the corner. Zhitnik coming up with it now. Long pass at center, but it gets away from Junot right down to Rhodes. Junot still charging after the puck. Redden high in the air and down the ice. Hasek will come out and play it away from Berg. Looking it to the corner. Woolley saw Berg coming and braced himself for the check. Zhitnik coming up with it. 7 minutes have passed here in the third period. Grosek to the Ottawa line and over into the corner for Junot. Junot scooped it free. Alfredson takes it away, and he's checked. Rolled around on the board. Zhitnik keeping it in. Zhitnik feeding it in to Pekka, but he couldn't knock it down. Came in front. Here's Grosek, and he can't get the shot away before Salo knocked it away from him. Salo uses the glass perfectly and sends it down the ice. A minute remaining in Bonk's penalty. Tipped up on the wing for Ward. Ward trying to get the center. Does. He'll tap it in. Swept in behind the net for York. Steered back into the corner. Ward kicked it away. Ward swings it around to Patrick. Patrick holding it in for Buffalo into Ward in the corner. Ward looking in front of the net. Here's Ward hanging on to it in the corner. Sends it to Holzinger. Holzinger got it back to Ward, who then ran into the referee in the corner. And it's cleared along the center ice, and a penalty coming up to Buffalo. Sent it over the line, and it's grabbed by Hasek, and now as the Senators with 30 seconds remaining in the Bonk penalty, Ward will go for Buffalo.
Dixon Ward on the back check pulled down his check. He doesn't think so, but he's going to go to the penalty box. Daniel Alfredson hit the deck.
Buffalo penalty to number
And in 30 seconds, the Ottawa Senators will try in the power play. Buffalo leading Ottawa 3-0.
See, you shouldn't have said anything about being Saints.
And now they are sinners, truly. At least Dixon Ward. Well, you've got to feel the Senators here with 12:06 to go. By the time they go on the power play, they'll be on 11.5 minutes. They need to score on this power play to give themselves any chance of getting back in this game. And the face-off here to the left of Dominic Hasek. Emerson will take the draw against Brian Holzinger. And the Sabres going for it tonight, trying to go up 3-0 against the Senators, who ended up second by 1 point in the conference.
It's a quick shot right on. Hasek knocked it away. The rebound right in front of the net. And it's recovered and scooped ahead. And away goes Buffalo. Brown coming with Holzinger. Brown looking for the shot. He fired it wide. By Hossa. Hossa spins it back into the corner. Emerson has to go after it. Emerson being checked by Brown. Swung around on the boards and a pass to Lokinen. Lokinen gets to center. His teammates are changing. He kicked it back in the other direction. Ottawa now at full strength. And then it's stolen by Smellick. Here's Smellick taking his shot and firing it wide of the net as two Senators collided to set that one up, including Bonk coming out of the penalty box. Tackle firing one in. 1:15 remaining in the penalty. Around to the boards, he'll drop it off, and it's gunned off the boards and back down the ice.
What a great play by Junot. That experience and puck handling ability as he made a great play in the Buffalo zone to handle the puck and shoot it down the ice.
A minute left in the penalty now to Ward. Broken up by McKee. Salo has to collect it again. He almost gave it away to Junot. Now brought in. Fired around by Yashin, hard around, and Rasmussen drilled it to the blue line. Now sends it away to center ice. Dackel getting it back. Dackel turning, and Primo's on him, knocked him down. Primo comes up with the puck. Slides it back for McKee across to Warner. Lots of time to take more time off the clock. He'll shovel it off into the corner. A half minute left in the Buffalo penalty. Senators bringing it back again. Down 3-0 here in the third period. Cranked around on the glass. Kept in by Ottawa to the corner. Alfredson getting tied up by Zhitnik. Zhitnik still shoveling away at the puck behind the net. Patrick off the boards and out to center ice. Recovered by York. York clearing it up the middle. Now Buffalo returns to full strength. Yashin steers it into the corner. Halfway through the third period. Comes to center. Ward out of the box. Ward getting it up to Barada. He's cutting in. Backhand rebound. Oh, and it's chopped wide of the net. And the net gets knocked off by Primo, who couldn't slow his progress. 3-0 Buffalo on Empire.
Hey, get a load of the old-timer.
That there is the legendary Radio Robert.
Who?
20 years ago, he was unstoppable. Had a slap shot you could hear but could not see, hence the nickname Radio.
Yeah, well, they can call him Rusty Robert now. Hey, Rusty!
Don't say it, Tony.
Still got that shot, Tin Man? Let's see it!
Punk. Hey, maybe you should be a goalie, Tony. Tony?
So here I am, just drifting. 4 years of college behind me, 40 years of work ahead of me. So the truth is, I'm in no hurry to be a grown-up. I'm just in a hurry.
Hey, with a 16-valve Z-Tech engine and a low red carpet lease payment like this, the 99 CX2 will get you where you want to go. And it'll get you there fast, even if it's nowhere in particular. So visit your local Ford dealer today.
Now, moments ago, Václav Barada trying to eliminate himself from that goal-scoring slump. And he almost did as he backhanded the shot. Rhodes made the stop, and it was Primo who was going to the front of the net, who also had a scoring chance.
Holzinger and Bonk kicking at the puck, but it comes to Phillips. Phillips worked it up on the wing. It'll deflect to the corner. Hasek is out of the net to get it around to Patrick. Patrick scooping it out at center to Holzinger. 3-on-2. The pass in over the line. It's slipped back there. Oh, and Grosek kicked it wide of the net. And back behind the goal again. Grosek tumbles to the ice. Hossa swinging it out to center. Phillips carries on. Phillips to the Buffalo line. His shot. Look out. That one is going to end up in the crowd.
Well, you can't fool James Patrick too much one-on-one, and Phillips tried to, and it was no contest as James stayed with them and deflected the puck up into the crowd. One of the keys tonight has been penalty killing for Buffalo, though they haven't done it too often, and I mentioned a play by Juneau. What a great play. He took the puck up along the right wing boards, with his back to the play, maneuvered the puck around, and then made a great pass to the front of his net to a defenseman who then shot it down the ice. That's why Joe Juneau is killing penalties. Buffalo here with this face-off will be just inside the line. They didn't have enough players on the ice.
And guess who counted them? Dominic Hasek. Yep. He's slapping his stick on the ice. Wait a minute, we need one more guy.
Dixon Ward comes on. Pekka to take the draw.
Senators keeping it in. A long one goes wide of the net. Kicked down by Pekka, swinging it around on the boards. And it's scooped out to center. Kravchuk deals it back in the other direction. Jackal flipped it over, and it's sent around by Salo into the corner again. Johansson trying to pick it up in there. They kick at it on the boards. Still booting away at it. Kept in by the Senators to Salo. Salo at the point. Floats one in wide of the net. Now it's Johansson trying to get away behind the net. Left it for Yashin, and Yashin gets tied up by Warner, and Yashin's getting frustrated again. Ottawa keeping it in. Warner knocks it down. Warner tapping it out to center ice. Oh, stolen by Barada. Here's Barada, and he's checked by Kravchuk. Both teams are trying to make a change as Kravchuk brings it back again. Sending it up ahead. Alfredson in over the line. Alfredson screen shot! Just deflected wide. Becca got it off the boards to center. 8:20 remaining in the third period. 3-0 Buffalo. McEachern flips it free. Crossbow sending it through center to the Buffalo line. Schmelik takes it back. Schmelik now to Rasmussen. And that's a two-line pass. 8:11 to go here in the third period. Buffalo looking to take a 3-0 lead.
Your days of pushing me around are through. I got a better offer, and I'm grabbing it. They even offered me a bonus. Can you even say that? Bonus. Bonus. Knock, knock. Who's there? A bonus.
Expect more from your credit card. With Discover Platinum, you get a low rate and new double cashback bonus awards. It pays to discover Platinum.
Hello, bonus. Speaking.
During Adventure 99, you can lease a Dodge Durango for only $365 a month. Or if you buy a Dodge Caravan, get your choice of a $1,000 cash allowance. Or a vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. It's the adventure of a lifetime. And we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Buffalo with a commanding 3-0 lead here in the third with 8:11 remaining. And as we suspected, Michael Pekka has been on the ice every time that Yashin has been out there here in the third. And I'm sure from Jacques Martin's point of view, he would love to see Yashin get on the board tonight in some way, either a goal or an assist, just anything to try to get him some confidence and get him going, because he has been totally coming apart tonight again for Ottawa.
Redden scoops it around behind the Buffalo net. Shipnick takes out his check. McEachern. Primo got it on the boards. Not out. They'll hack at it again. Barnes trying to work it out of there as he bumps with Crossbow. Set back into the corner again. McEachern trying to work it free. Barnes stays right with him. Barnes still battling with him. Now rolled around to York. York keeping it in there. Got it to McEachern behind the net. McEachern turning around. Here's McEachern trying to work it in front. Back to York. Took a shot. Hasek's got that one and hangs on to it.
Dominic Hasek getting some action here in the third, but that was an interesting play to the right of Hasek. Talked to Jay McKee this morning. He said one thing that the Senators are famous for is for setting picks. And we saw that on the, as they were rotating the puck, Crossbow just stepped in front of his check. And that allowed the Senators to come around from behind the net and set the play up from a point. As the shot was stopped by Jason York, but McEachern was turning, and Crossbow made certain Stu Barnes wasn't going to get to him. A classic example of setting a pick, and that's a play that a referee's not going to make the call on. You're not really supposed to do that, but Crossbow had good position.
Here's a chance for Ottawa, keeping it in. Hasek guides it off into the corner. Juneau coming up with the puck. Juneau feeding it ahead to Brown. Brown scoops it through the middle to Woolley, but it's recovered by Emerson. He's chased back behind the net by Brochet. Kept in by Buffalo's Brown. Bonk picks it off. He'll slide it up ahead. It's worked by Emerson to the Buffalo blue line. Hossa got it over the line, and that's an offside. Quality coverage you can depend on from Independent Health, presenting the save of the game. And Nelson Emerson is just one of many Ottawa Senators who are foiled by Dominic Hasek.
Now the Senators with 25 shots on goal tonight. Nelson Emerson has really been excellent for the Ottawa Senators as an assist in all three of their goals in this series, and has threatened to score a number of times in Dominic Hasek, as we just looked at.
McKee trying to get it ahead. Pekka will drill it in off the corner glass. Taken back by Salo, trying to lead the rush to Johansson. Got it to center ice. Warner tipped it in the other direction. Now gets it out to Verada. He's checked by Kravchuk. Yashin in turn lost it to Ward, to McKee, up for Verada again, and it bounces away from him as Pekka runs in to Dackel. Kravchuk left it there, swung around on the boards. Ward keeping it in. Ward for Verada. Verada and Kravchuk colliding. Yashin got involved again, came in front. Pekka tried to swing it in front, and Verada got tackled again by Yashin. violation, but there's no penalty this time. Sabres come up with a puck, knock it in over the line, and it's called on the offside.
Well, Yashin again frustrated, going to the bench, and Verada's having himself a field day out there. What a neat little pass, though, by Michael Pekka as he just tipped the pass in the air to Verada in front of the net, and Verada ended up getting tackled. A little backhand chip pass. And Verada was taken down. That could have been called interference, but was not. But I think overall, you cannot criticize the officials in this game. They've really done an excellent job.
Redden to York. York getting to center ice. Now he flips it in. Schmelik knocks it down and tips it back inside Ottawa territory. Jason York for Wade Redden. Up the middle it goes. Possible getting it through the center ice area. 6 minutes remaining in the third period. Cruz came out in front of the shot just wide of the net. Worked around to the boards. Held in by Redden. Scoop back into the corner again. Cruz trying to tie up his check. Cruz running into Alfredson. Alfredson has it, however. He'll drop it off in the corner once more. And poke it around. Back to the point it comes. Stuffed back in along the wall to Redden. Schmelik stepped into him. Here's Possible trying to get it in front, and then Hasek will end the play right there.
Well, the Senators desperately trying to score a goal, cycling the puck in the corner. And Cruz now sparring with Alfredson inside the face-off circle to the right of Hasek, while there's another disagreement going on behind the net. And Wade Redden stepped in quickly on Alfredson. And the Senators, they don't have any fighters or any what you would call tough guys. I mean, they have a tough guy lineup in the sense that they work hard and they're good in the corners. But as far as fighting and dropping the gloves, they're absent from the lineup, and has been all year. Well, shots on goal in Game 1, the Senators with 41, Buffalo 15. In Game 2, Ottawa with 47 shots. The Sabres stepped it up to 39. Of course, that was the overtime game. And tonight, 50 shots, 25 apiece.
5.5 to go in the third. 3-0 Buffalo. Primo gets all tangled up, can't get it out. Bonk holding it in. They jam on the boards again. Bonk tries it free with a shot that gets blocked by Woolley. Bonk and Primo battling for it. Emerson comes up with the puck, trying to get it out in front of the net as he ran into Hasek. Woolley steers it back into the corner, and a penalty coming to Patrick. Ottawa taking the shot, goes wide of the net. It'll end up back at center ice. Lokkonen coming up with it. Oh, he flipped it back into his own end. There's nobody in the net, but he shot it wide of the net. And here comes Rasmussen to run Hossa in the corner. And play is called now as the Sabres come up with the puck, and Ottawa will go on the power play. Less than 5 to go in the third.
Get a CD player. Get a power sunroof and a whole lot more. Introducing the Sunfire Sun & Sound Coupe. A hot set of wheels, money left to burn. Right now, Sunfire comes specially equipped with a CD player, sunroof, and chrome wheel covers. Strike while it's hot. Hurry in to your Pontiac dealer today.
What do you have, folks? A large pepperoni pizza.
And a Pepsi, please.
Sure thing, Curly.
Thank you.
We both know I ordered a Pepsi Cola, and now you've insulted me by offering me this. But I'd like to give you a chance to make amends. Capiche? Yeah. Here you go.
Good eye.
Buffalo Sabres broadcast wardrobe is provided by M. Weil Men's Factory Outlet for the lowest prices and best values.
James, I'm sorry. I was going to say James Patrick is in the penalty box, 2 minutes for holding, and Ottawa here on the power play, and certainly getting some pressure on Buffalo recently.
Certainly need a goal right now. Drilled around on the boards in Buffalo territory. Kept in the long shot. Hasek knocked it away. Sent around behind the net. Yashin coming up with it on the corner. McKee's on him as they hack away at each other. McEachern tried to come up with it, and it's stolen by Junot. Junot to Pekka. Pekka getting to center, now fires it ahead and hits Kravchuk.
That was another great job by Junot along the boards to outfight the Ottawa player and get it to Pekka.
Salo to Kravchuk. Kravchuk cranks one in off the glass. McKee blasts it, doesn't get it out. Came in front of the net, but it's recovered now by Buffalo's Junot. His long shot. Rhodes flags that one down as the Sabres and Senators both make changes. Backel spins it back into his own end. It went right to the goaltender. Taken away by Buffalo, almost in front of the net to Brown, but Holzinger couldn't get it to him. A minute remaining in the penalty, and now Brown breaks up the rush by Emerson. Brown after it again in the corner. He and Emerson battling. It's tapped back behind the net to Redden. 45 seconds left in the penalty. Off the boards to center ice. Tipped right back in again and going to be called offside. Buffalo make the right decision. Insist on Karuba collision. And Michael Pekka spent a good part of the night taking care of Alexei Yashin. But he had some left for Andreas Dackel.
Another great open ice hit by Michael Pekka, who again has been huge here tonight in a checking role for Buffalo. But you really have to wonder if the lack of passion from the Ottawa Senators. Yes, their confidence perhaps is shattered and their nerves are gone, but there's no passion out there, and you just cannot win in the playoffs without that. Crossbow to take the face-off here against Stu Barnes.
Redden coming up with the puck. 35 seconds remaining in the Senator power play. Redden tipping one in. All the way to the corner. Kicked around to the boards by Barnes, but flung back to the point. Emerson's long shot hit and just missed. There's a screen shot that was deflected. Ward got it to the blue line. Not out. Tipped in by Ottawa. Now it's punched down the ice by Barnes. Emerson starting away. Emerson, his long shot, that goes wide of the net. Schmelik can't get it. Here's Crossbow getting it out in front. Kept into Larkin, and he misplayed the puck. It rolled into the corner. Buffalo back at full strength. Johansson behind the net. Johansson kicked it off into the corner again, and recovered by the Sabres. Patrick didn't get it out, but Schmelik will. Schmelik up to center. Junot's pass went behind Pekka. He had to wait for it. Now he feeds it in. 2.5 minutes remaining in the third. Buffalo a 3-0 lead. Hossa trying to get away at center. Hossa hitting the Buffalo line. Here comes McKee to line him up. And around on the boards. They kick at it just inside the Buffalo line. Spun free but not out. Lokinen keeping it in. His long shot, and Hasek just grabs that one and he'll hang on.
I think Hossa heard McKee coming because he had a head of steam heading over near the Buffalo bench and had Hossa in his sights. Number 18 for the Senators, who had some great speed going into the zone, just eluded him enough to cause McKee to get a piece. And if he would have hit all of them, he might have been out in the hallway or down the hallway by the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, there's somebody carrying a broom in the Marine Midland Arena, but it's a long way from being a sweep. This is only game number 3, although it certainly appears as if it will be 3-0 in the next 2 minutes and 14 seconds. McKee going to get away from Hossa, flipped it ahead, didn't get it out. Hossa keeping it in. His shot, Hasek knocks that away, scoops it into the corner, ends up behind the Buffalo net, came out in front again. He chopped at it. Primo trying to come up with it, can't do it. Held in by Hossa. Hossa hasn't given up. Back to the point to Kravchuk. His screen shot doesn't get through. Kravchuk after it again. Kravchuk taken up by Rasmussen. It ends up in behind the net. Senators keeping it in. Trying to squeeze it out in front. That's taken away, but not out. Ottawa keeping it in. Gunned in front. A shot off the glass. It goes. And Primo hooks it and sends it down into Ottawa territory. No icing. 1.5 minutes left on the clock. Salo flips it ahead, taken back by Buffalo and ripped right back out to the neutral area. Salo's got it again. Swings it back in his own end. Now Yashin trying to get away, feeds it up ahead. Taken away by Patrick. He gets it into Verada. Verada dumping it around behind the net. Rhodes slows it down for York in the corner, bothered by Ward. The crowd begins to get to its feet here at the Marine Midland Arena. Comes to center ice to the Buffalo line. Spun in over the line. There's Ottawa's Yashin trying to work it in. Tied up by Willie. Less than a minute to go. Hasek grabs a hold of the puck, and Johansson is battling in front of the net along with Patrick.
Well, Dominic gave it one of those. He threw the stick down, picked it up with a blocker, and said, "It's mine," and you're not getting it. As the puck rolled to the side of the net, and then Patrick and Johansson began sparring in front. 52.8 seconds remain in this hockey game. 3-0 Buffalo. She picked the puck up and brought it right to his chest and said, "That's it. It's all over. I got it." And what a job again tonight by Buffalo. Scoring the first goal in this game was key to Lindy Ruff. The confidence level of Ottawa extremely low, and that took a lot out of them when Buffalo scored in the first period early, and a broom is thrown onto the ice back in the back in the Ottawa zone.
Looks like a good broom, too.
Yeah. Hey, save that for us.
Curling.
That's right, a curling broom, did you say?
Looked like it.
Yeah, it did.
How would you know?
Oh, I've curled once or twice. But I go there for other reasons, actually.
Back at the point to York, keeping it in for Ottawa. Takes a shot. Rasmussen knocks it down. Scoop, but not out. And the shot is on. Hasek to Zhitnik. Zhitnik feeding it off the glass. Didn't get it out. McEachern kicking it. Zhitnik got a piece of him. Here's Cruz bumping in with McEachern. Came up beside the net again. It's knocked down. And it's tapped down the ice. And a battle going on behind the play. And now we've got everybody mixing it up back in the Buffalo end. I don't think any punches were thrown. It was a grappling match, and Paul Cruz was certainly involved along with McEachern.
Well, I mentioned McEachern. Buffalo does not like the way he played in Game 2. And they let him know that tonight, and they made him suffer for it. And this time it was Paul Cruz who ended up getting involved with him to the left of Dominic Hasek. And Cruz getting the only penalty, so says Rob Schick, 2 minutes for roughing. Face-off coming up in the Buffalo zone. 28.1 seconds remaining. A huge scrum around the Buffalo net. And Cruz takes a penalty on McEachern.
And a lot of the folks beginning to file out of the Marine Midland Arena. They're confident that their team is going to go up 3-0. And they have every reason to be that confident with only 28 seconds left in the third period.
What a job the Buffalo team has done in front of their goaltender tonight. Hasek has had 15 shots on him here in the third, but most of those he has been able to see.
Redden coming up with the puck. Scoops it, doesn't get it out, but Junot breaks up the play. Emerson kept it in. Oh, it's picked up and tapped down the ice by Warner. Left in behind the net. 12 seconds to go in game number 3. Fired across ice again to the Buffalo line and over. Broken up right in front. Crossbow with a shot. Hasek knocks that away. Sent back into the corner. Junot with it now. Junot at the center ice. The game is over. Pushing and shoving going on by the Buffalo bench, but the officials are in there in a hurry, and Dominic Hasek wraps up his 4th playoff shutout and leads the Buffalo Sabres to a 3-0 series lead here in downtown Buffalo.
And the story after 3 games in this series is very simple. If you're going to win, your best players must perform. And the best players on the Buffalo Sabres have outperformed the best players on the Ottawa Senators.
So Buffalo will head to game number 4 here in this building on Tuesday night with a stranglehold 3-0 lead over the heavily favored Ottawa Senators as the result of a 3-0 victory this evening.
Before spring goes full swing, take advantage of special leases on the all-weather confidence of Lincoln Continental with all-speed traction control. The $4.99 a month lease is an attractive way to experience the luxury and power of Continental. The season's coming on, and the place to be is behind the wheel of a new Lincoln. The grand spaciousness of Lincoln Town Car is at your service at $4.99 a month as well. It's the luxury of choice. From Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
This is your 2-minute warning.
Game on the line. Here's Flutie.
If they don't win tonight, Ottawa win at home. If they lose tonight, it's going 6. But that being said, I just think Ottawa's packed.
You got to do it tonight, Brian.
3-1 Buffalo.
I hate to do this, but I'll take the exact